Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
man.
Hi.
All right. Everyone's popping in. All right, here we go. All right. Here we go. 1 second. I'm putting up the chat now. And here's the chat. Can everyone head over to the chat and give a little hi there? I'm going to do that myself right now. Hi there. Um, Hi there and there. All right. Oh, Alan, you are sharing your screen. Not sure if you're doing that on purpose or not, but I am seeing your screen right now. Did you do that on purpose or should I stop your share? Alan, I have a feeling you didn't mean to share it, so I'm going to stop your share. There we go. All right. Oh, that was the problem. Oh, I'm not in the correct. Ouch. Um, I'm not in the correct. Yeah, I'm going to get you guys on my phone. I have to leave this computer. I was wondering why things weren't set up right. I'm in the personal photo. My computer was left in the personal version of and the photos and stuff that I need to work with are not here. So I'm gonna join you guys on the phone so the class doesn't disconnect. Okay. Give me a second. I'll be back. I'm leaving here and I'm entering. You guys won't notice the difference, but it'll be like 2 minutes, 1 minute. All right, so I can talk to you guys, but I can't hear you. Hold on, I have you on my phone. So can you guys hear me at all?
Yes, but we can't see you.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a second while I'm switching to a different computer. I got you guys like on a temporary hold on my phone. Give me 1 sec while I'm entering my other computer, which I'm almost there. Very strange. I had there we go. Switch. All right. Can you hear me now? Now I'm in the correct.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. Same computer. It's just that I have to open it up as one person or as another, and I have it as me on a personal level or me as a teacher. And I was in the personal version, and I have been working all morning, and I started the class, and I didn't notice that I hadn't shifted because this is where the photos are for this class. So sorry about that. Um, a little glitch there. Let me open again, though, the chat. So the chat is completely new to me. Can you all write in the chat again for the attendance purposes? Because the other one is lost because I had to switch computers. I'm on a different connection. So I'm going to say hi there again. If you can please uh, do that as well. There we go. All right, sorry about that. I don't think I've ever done that. Now and then I'll have different things happen to classes, but I don't think I've ever opened up in the wrong account. There's a first for everything. First time for everything. All right, welcome, welcome. And how's it going today? Before we go into editing photos, which is what we're going to do today, is there any question about anything we have been doing? We did a lot of organization. You guys had, as homework, you had to create more albums and more folders that held albums and some smart albums, and you were going to test all of that on your phone and on your computer. So if all that went really well and you have no questions and, got it, I'm doing it really, everything is good, give me a yes. But if perchance you have questions or something didn't work or you had, you needed to know about things, then please raise your hands. And I see Blas has a question, so I'm going to start with Blas. Yes, Blas?
Yes, hello. Yes, I absolutely love the keyword function on the photos. I used one of the default photo keyword, which was family. So I labeled a lot of family photos. And then when I searched it, it also picked up documents with the word family in it.
Yeah.
So I tried to get rid of that. And when I double clicked on it, it says at the very bottom, remove one photo from, and in parentheses, it has null, Null. What does that mean?
Still means it can't do it. Um, so here, let me share my screen. Null means that it's a request in computerese work that like the code can't do in one way or for one reason or another. I don't know why, but so say that I write the word family in here as a search. Then it gives me the responses of text that says the word family, and that's what that means. Family room, it suggests, what about that? Family photos, that's me, that's my keyword. And then a couple of that have the title called family, right? So I can choose, but if I were to click on family words, it comes up with three different places that the word family appears. Okay, so over here, there's family sharing. And I guess in this one, there's a book here that says family, and the same another video that again has a book here whose name is family. So when you click on that choice, that's what comes up. But if you went and did family and everything that showed up under family, you labeled it with the keyword family, then that means you've included a few of those that are text. So all you need to do is go find them, say that this here said family and it's been keyworded family. You select it and you just delete the keyword from it. So I'm not sure if that's what's happening. If it's something beyond that, do you want to share your screen so we can see how to fix it or how to change it?
I'll work with it. But what I did was, while you're showing, I went and I put family, and then I picked the one the one you suggested, that where I created. No,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't create the word family. It was already one of the choices on the keyword
Yeah.
manager.
It
Is
has
that
a couple of
it?
default ones. Yeah.
Was that
The keyword manager has a few that are default.
right? Right. But see, when I put family now on the search bar up on the right corner, and then I chose the one that you suggested, the one that I made, it only put up 5 photos. Whereas yesterday I selected 30 family photos.
So Mary Jean, hold on. Mary Jean seems to be trying to share her screen. I'm not sure if it's on purpose or if it's a mistake. Mary Jean, you seem to have a request to share. I'm gonna um, not let you do that right now because I want to keep working with Blas. But yeah. So Blas, is there any chance you can share your screen so I can work on your stuff and show you how to work on your stuff or
No, not right now. What I'll do is I'll work with it, and if I can't figure it out, then I'll raise my hand again. So
all
let me
right.
let me just try to work with it.
And I know that some people resist sharing, that's fine, but then I could easily see what's the problem. But anyway, if you created a keyword called family, right? So here, I'm gonna create a keyword called family. I don't have one, mine say best family or family photo, right? So let's say that I create a keyword called family. Let me find a photo that's family. So, Let me find a photo of family. Usually it's my vacations up front. Okay, so here, oh, come on. Of all the photos I have a lot of family photos. Okay, so here, this is a family group, right? So say that I wanted to add the keyword family to this, and it doesn't exist because I don't have it yet. And I just create it. And I don't want family photos. I want one just called family. So boom, I just created one just called family. And in fact, here in the keywords, now you see one called family that wasn't there before, right?
Right.
So then if I now go and start deciding, okay, that's a family photo two, and 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 that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Is that how you called the rest family? And
Yes.
I'll label them family like that?
Yes.
No, I don't
Yes.
call them family. So now I just labeled about 7 or 8 things family. So now if I go to search and I write the word family, I have the family photos that I had originally where I had 2, and then I have some that say family. And when I click on it, it's only 1. You're right. And I just did like 5 of them as family. Hold on. Didn't I label this one family? Yes. This one I labeled family. This one I labeled family. This one, all of these 5, these 6 I labeled family. So if I labeled them all family, see how down here I had already called them best family, but now I call them family, which is the new one. A few of these are only family. So that's like 6, and I think I had one more up there that was so this is 6 or 7. So if I go here and research family again, why is it only showing me 2? Oh, 10. Now it's 10. Okay. So there's the ones that are family photos that I had before that I only had 2. Then there's family room, which is their guess. Whenever it's a search, it's their guess. It's like, oh, I see a photo that could be family room. And then that one is what I just labeled family. Okay. And I guess I have them as, I thought they were, let me just click on that. The one called family. And here they show up. That is the top results. And then here you see them repeated because this is all the results. Remember, they always shows you in two versions. So you see them repeated, but it's these 10 photos. Yeah, and these are the ones that I just labeled. So for me, it's working. So I'm not sure, maybe you didn't complete, like go to the ones you thought you had labeled family, select them and see if here it says family, like the ones that you thought you had labeled that didn't come up. It's possible too that it's a uppercase, lowercase, one type way of typing it, a space before, a space after. Whenever you write the word family, it has to be exactly the same. And in fact, one more thing, if I go here to my library again, I'm going to leave this search, go back to my library. If I were to decide, hey, this is also a family photo, see how it's not added as a keyword? If I add a keyword and I write the word family again, or if I write it with uppercase or I make a space, family, this is not the same family as before. See how it's not appearing? Because I wrote it with uppercase and I put a little space in front. So it needs to be written exactly the same way. So if I'm going to write family lowercase, you need to choose it from here to choose the keyword you made, not rewrite it. If you choose it from this choice, then that's the one. And I have just added it to the family. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I
Exactly.
didn't create it. I just chose the option on the keyword manager.
Over here. Okay,
Yes.
you just
It was,
said, okay, this is family. You chose a photo that was family and you clicked like that.
yes.
Okay. Then that's correct. Then that's the one. So let me choose a bold. This is not family, right? So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to call it family so we can see it hanging out differently than the other photos. So now that for sure has been labeled family. It also was labeled 5 stars earlier or something. So now let me go and see if I look for the keyword family. There it is. There's my bowl. So for me, it's working.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what to say. Maybe there's something in the process because I labeled that bowl family, and now when I search family,
I'll try it again. So this the follow-up question is how do you get rid of the bowl from that family category?
yeah. So now if this wasn't supposed to be family, then I go here to the info window, right? And I
Mm.
select and I just hit my delete key. And there, it's not family anymore. So now it'll not be in this choice anymore. So next time I search for family and I go, so if I select that photo, see it doesn't have that family anymore. So
Mhm.
search for family now. And I go to the keyword family. It should not be there. And yep, it's not there.
Okay, I'll try during the break, and then I don't want
Add
to
it
hold the class
away.
too much.
Okay,
Okay, great. Thank you.
great. And by the way, this is part of the class is you guys practicing. And I really love that you practiced with what we learned and you found some use for it and that you're got questions. Because I always say, if you just learn what I tell you and then don't practice it, and that's when people don't have questions because you just absorb what I taught you. Really learning it is doing it on your own and coming up with problems. Then you ask me, then I help you, and then life is good, right? Or really using it and not having problems. But that it's you doing things on your own, guys, is when it works. It's like I can tell you how to ride a bicycle, but until you actually ride a bicycle, you don't know how to ride a bicycle. So you watch me and you learn the theory and you kind of someone holds you walks the bike with you. That's the class. But then you launching yourself to ride a bicycle on your own, that's you guys doing this on your own and then going, yeah, I can actually ride, or I need some help again. And that's why I always start the class with, is there any questions about what we did last week? Now, if you didn't practice it, if you didn't use keywords, if you didn't make albums, that's fine. We still have one more meeting during which you can ask me questions. So next Monday is our last meeting. So practice these things so that at the beginning of next week, you can ask me. And the beginning can be 10 minutes or it can be half an hour, whatever it takes for the people's questions. And then we start on something new because it makes no sense to teach new things on top of old things if the old things haven't been absorbed. Okay. So, cool. Any other questions, you guys? Yes, Mary Jean, you're muted.
This is simple and
Mhm.
redundant.
Nothing.
When I put, for example, family on,
Mhm.
when I get the picture up, and I'll do it. So I get a picture up, and here it is family,
Mhm.
and the info box comes up. Where do I write family? Under caption? No, add a keyword.
Add a keyword, but you need to have that. Yes, right. It's so much better to teach when someone's sharing. Can you share your screen? You were just trying to share earlier, and I said no because I was talking to Blas. Can you do that? Because that's when
Oh, that's no, some box came up and I didn't understand what it was.
I got a message saying Mary
Oh
Jean is
no, I was not trying. It's
right.
just
But
whatever
so
happened.
can you do that again? And can you
Sure.
share the screen? Okay.
What am I? I'm so sorry. What am I supposed to do?
So click on the green box with the up arrow that says share.
There it goes.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And share.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so if I go to photos,
Mm-hmm.
and so see what I would do is just put family and everything with family comes up.
Yeah, but what comes up with family is right now, if you haven't created a keyword or anything, right? If this is just you writing the search word family, then um, there's choices that come up that right now so click X to get rid of that, and I'll show you what that means. So click on that X to get
On,
here to get rid of
okay.
that word family. Yeah. And now write family again, but this time don't click enter, just write family and wait and see the choices that it gives you. So stop there. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
giving you the choice. There's 211, and whenever it has a search like that, it's just the computer deciding that those things could be family. So it's not like
Okay.
you labeled it. Then it says, well, there's also 81 that could be family room. Then
Okay.
there's Nancy's family again, and that's probably something that you wrote, Nancy Bailey family, or now suddenly there's an album that you created called Family Photos that has one photo in it. So it's
Okay.
many possible choices, right? Now,
Okay.
none of these are a keyword. You didn't create a keyword family. So now if you want to see 211 things that the computer thinks might be family, you choose that one. If you want to see your album, you choose that one. Does that make
Got
sense?
it.
So
Yes, and I did have fun during the week.
click on this one for a second, the top one. No, 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 here, that family version. Yeah. No, no, just one. No, no, delete that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, now put it in there again. And then go to this first choice. Just select it. Yeah, click and that's it. Okay. So now it's showing you 211 photos, right? And you don't see 211 in here. It's just that it's showing you top searches first. Now start scrolling down and it shows you albums named family, where you have one.
I'd like to say this is one of the best pictures of me ever taken. Okay.
Oh,
Just
well, there you
saying.
go. Nice. I was showing you mine. Then there's photos that say the word family. Okay. Then there's an album called Family Photos, right? And then
Right.
you go up to the top again. So these is showing you different choices. And in this
Perfect.
case, it said 200 of these. So if this is what you want to see, there's 211 under that. And
Mm,
there's probably a show all over here or something that's now hidden that would show you all 211. But again, maybe this says, there it is. I see the word family in there. You see, you have family, something about the mafia. This is probably an article that says something about the word family. So it's very generic. It's like anything that could possibly
definitely.
be family. Does that make sense?
Excellent.
So
Yep,
if you
makes
want, wait,
perfect.
one more thing. So if you want to see all 211 that it found, you would have to go here where it says see all. And when you click on that, it would show you
I
200.
don't see the see all. Oh,
I
there it is. Okay, yes, I've done that. Yes,
Okay.
I've done that.
Now that
Yes,
doesn't mean that these are the ones you would have chosen. For the most part, it seems to be words here and there. Right? So, because family is such a generic thing that unless you labeled it. So you said you had a lot of fun doing what? Did you do
look,
keyword?
you could see how many photos I have.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I have,
Most of them are silly, fun memes and
yeah.
silly things. So that's great. No, this was very, very helpful.
Okay,
Yep.
good, great. Cool. Well, then let me stop your share
Excellent. Thank you.
and just when you did that, Linda showed up. By the way, today I kind of launched into the fact that I was on a different computer and never really greeted you all. So since Linda just joined us, I will greet everyone else too. Hi. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Yolanda, back there. I can't see you. I know you're there. Josie, I just downloaded the photo that you sent me. So I'm gonna see if I can show it.
That'd
And
be great.
what's that?
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. And let me see who else is here. Well, Blas, of course, I spoke to Marta. And hi, Georgia. Oh, and nice to see you back. And Alan. And Rodney, I believe I already mentioned you, but let me show you. I'm going to put the video that was just sent to me by Josie. Remember last week? Let me share my screen. Remember last week, Josie mentioned that she did a slow-mo of birds on her neighbor's balcony. Okay, so she just sent it to me, so I just uploaded it. And it's 39 seconds, and you said it takes a while to start. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There's some birds, so I'm going to start it right there. And this is not a slow-mo. It's a time lapse or a slow-mo. Which one is it?
It's a slow-mo.
Slow-mo. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. They seem to appear from under there. Wow. And you're following them. Nice. Wow, what a view, Josie. And there you go. Nice. That was really nice.
I was really happy with it.
Birds in flight. That's so cool. Let me actually mention one last thing. I haven't mentioned much, but since it just appeared and it's in my consciousness, do you guys see that at the end of this video, it's gone now. That little icon there, that's a leaf. When I click on it, it tells you this that it's pointing to is a Japanese cheesewood, species of sweet smelling flower. I don't know if you noticed that. Go to anything. Let me see. Go to other things that have very obvious plants or something. or animals. Here, a peacock. Let me have a peacock. There's a little tiny guy there that's a teensy animal, a little bird. And when I click on it, Indian peafowl, large and brightly colored bird in the pheasant family. Da 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 da. It gives you some information. So whatever things that it recognizes that it can tell you about. This is all cities, so I don't know. Maybe things like that are very iconic, like Sagrada Familia. Maybe it can figure those things out. I don't know. Is this the Sagrada Familia? Yeah. It's got a no, it just has a location thing there. La Sagrada Familia, cultural prophecy in Spain, things that are very well known. It knows how to recognize them. You see the little tiny thingy that I'm mentioning? I go to something that's a plant or a very obvious feature. I don't know if the spire would be recognized if I click
Okay,
on.
Diana, I went to a bunny rabbit and I didn't see the tiny little thing, but it was a
It's a
picture of a
obvious
bunny
bunny
rabbit,
rabbit.
not a real bunny rabbit.
Oh, well, maybe that's why trying a real bunny rabbit because that is an illustration of a bunny rabbit. I'm trying to find some obvious. Let me see this plant. See that little tiny thing that's a little plant shape? Lily. Oh, is that a lily? I don't think so. Lilium is a genus of herbaceous flowers. I don't know. It doesn't look like a lily to me. Anyway, I didn't say it was always right. I just said that it was there. Um, how about this poppy? Common poppy, species of plant. Anyway, on things that are very obvious like that, if you see that, let me see on this again here. Again, common poppy. Cool. But it doesn't say that's probably hay or whatever. It doesn't say it to that. Um, I don't know if you just have a regular old any build a bell. Does it say anything about a bell? I don't think so. Let's see. Um, oh, how funny. Calle de Estima. This just tells me where we are in Navarra. It's a well-known church, but it doesn't know that church. It just tells you where it is. Which the locations would have shown me as well. But yeah. But if it's a place, it's not, it's just in the middle of nowhere, Spain. So it doesn't have that. This is a well-known hut, but I don't think this is when you're crossing the Pyrenees. This is walking across the Pyrenees. This is a hut where people can take refuge at the top in case there's a storm. But yeah, it just gives you the address. That's all it does. Okay, so on things that are not like famous, like then it won't. But if I were to photograph, the Eiffel Tower or stuff like that, it certainly knows. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that little feature. What does it say about these guys? No results found. I guess they've been trimmed so much that it can't tell what kind of tree it is. Okay. Enough. Are we ready to continue with something new?
I'm going to ask, can you try that with an animal? Because I'm trying it with a cat and it's still not giving me that little,
Here's a horse.
right.
It's a silhouette of a horse and it's not doing it. I don't think I have many animals here. Do I have my doggy somewhere? My
Do you
little,
want me to screen share for a quick moment?
sure, go for it.
Okay.
I'll keep looking to see if I find something, but yeah.
Like here's a squirrel.
Oh, you're not screen sharing though?
Do you see my screen?
No.
Oh, heck, I just,
Hit the screen share and then share again.
oh, that's why. Okay, hold on. Screen share. Oh, and share again. Okay.
No.
Okay. Squirrel.
Okay, so double click on it to make it big. And yep, nothing on it. I just opened an anemone that is filling my screen and you'd think, and it doesn't have it. So, but then I have lily ponds and it has it. So yeah,
No.
I don't know that it does
Kitty
it.
cat. See?
Yeah.
Senior kitty cat.
What version of what operating system do you have? Yeah, go to
I
about this
can tell you it is
Sonoma.
Sonoma
Okay. So
1480.
that might, I know that this started happening in Sequoia. I mean, it's happening in Sequoia for sure. I don't know when it started. So I don't know if Sonoma had it or didn't have it. I don't know.
So
Uh,
is it time for me to upgrade from Sonoma?
well, Sonoma, let me see, what computer do you have? Let me read over there.
MacBook Air.
It's a 16 core. It's an Intel, 8 GB. You might not, you might be stopped. Go up to the Apple and go ahead and see system settings. You might be stopped. You might be at the top of what Sonoma can do. Okay, system settings, which go to the, yeah, go to general. Yeah, general. Yeah. And then click on general. It's not showing you general yet. This is the whole there. Software up.
Software update.
Yeah. No. You were right. My circle was in the wrong spot. Software update. And let's see what it says. I have a feeling you're probably maxed up. And then I'm going to continue because this is a
And thank you. I'm sorry for taking time up on
max
this.
portion of it, but it does make a difference in what's up here, right? So you can update to a newer Sonoma, but that's it. It doesn't let you go up to Sequoia. So yeah,
Okay.
you're maxed out. I mean, you should after class, not now, come here and do that
Yeah, not now.
to get the newer version of Sonoma. But
Okay.
yeah, you're stopped at Sonoma. It all depends on how, how new you're.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, which right now is sitting in a flower, and it does have it. Water lily. Shows me the water lily. So sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Now these are the leaves of that water lily. Will it also notice that it's the leaves of that same? It's a species of plant, but it doesn't tell me it's the water lily. But I think there were two different plants where I saw that water lily. Maybe that's one and that's another, or those are the leaves of the water lily, in which case those leaves should have said water lily as well. Who knows? That, by the way, this was an amazing lake in Oregon that we were paddling through all these water lilies. I mean, it was incredible. Anyway, memories. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with editing photos. Now, one I did forget, after class finished last week, I was gnashing at my teeth, if that is a thing to say, because I forgot about one album that I wanted you guys to make as homework. I wanted you guys to make a to be edited album. And what does that mean? I wanted you to make an album, and every time you found a photo that you would like to fix in some way or another, to have dragged it in there so that you would have some selected for today that we could work on editing. But that's okay. As you scroll through all your photos, just let's do that. First of all, let's make a new album. Let's go to the word albums. Let's click on a plus, make a new album, everyone. And let's call it for editing or to be edited. I'm going to call it for editing because I already have one called to be edited. And since I'm making a new one just to demo it, I'm going to call it for editing. So it has nothing in it right now because I just made it empty. And what we were going to do today was learn how to edit. And so I wanted to have us, okay, so give me a yes once you've created that album.
Diana, is this something that I can do on the phone? And if not, I'll
Yeah.
just take
Of
notes.
course, it's all doable on the phone.
Okay.
I'll show you. Thanks for reminding me. I'll show you right now. But yeah, let me stop the share and share my phone. So everyone, meanwhile, go ahead and scroll through your photos and start dragging into there any photos that are maybe a bit crooked or a bit dark or a little bit things that you might want to fix, change in any way, shape, or form. Or if you find none of those, find a few photos that you don't really care about that we're going to mess around with and you're okay with playing and learning stuff on them. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm going to go to the Photos app on the phone now to show how to do this for Josie only has her phone right now. So let's head down to the albums. Okay. Go ahead and click on this little arrow to go to all your albums. Tell me yes, Josie, when if you're following me, like
Yeah, I have it.
good.
Uh-huh.
Now, up at the top here, it says create. So let's create a new album.
Mm-hmm. New album, not new folder, right?
No, it's an album, and we're going to call it to edit or for editing purposes or to be edited, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to because I already have 2 of those. And then when you're done giving it a name, hit the word create.
Create, all right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's it. Now you have your album. Now back up and see, I have the one I created on the computer called for editing, and then I have my original one called to be edited, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the empty one. So now go to your photos, find a photo that you'd like to do something to, and then move it in one way or another. I'm going to use this version, and I'm going to say that I want to move it, add it to an album,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll say which album, and it'll show me and I'm going to click on this one for editing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So go ahead and start doing that to a few of your photos. And now I'm going to stop your share and bringing it back to the computer because I'm going to start showing how to edit on the computer, and then I'm going to show you those same things on the phone. All right, so give me a yes if you've created your to be edited or whatever you called it album. Got it, Linda. Thank you. Okay.
I created a folder rather than an album. Is that a problem?
Yes, because a folder can't hold photos. A folder can hold albums. So if you put a
Ah,
folder, you can't put photos in
right.
it. So go ahead and delete it and go back and create an album. Guys,
I'm not
a
sure I
folder.
can delete it.
Okay, so then don't worry for now. Just go back here to the albums, create a plus, and make a new album and call it to edit, and then use that.
Wait a second. Where is the plus? Oh, okay. Oh,
Right
I
next to
see
the
it.
word albums.
Got
Okay.
it. Got it.
So now I'm going to create a folder that's bad, so show you how to delete it. So I'm going to call this one to delete for Georgia. This is an example of a folder, right? Where
Yes.
so now if you don't want that one anymore, you right click and you delete the folder.
Okay.
Okay. And are you sure you want to delete the folder? It'll delete the albums in the folder, but you didn't put anything in it yet. So just delete it. And now you have your album for editing.
Okay.
Okay. So now head over to your files, and whenever you see, just look here and there for a photo that might need to be edited. Be liberal or the other way around. If you're trying to learn and you're not sure yet, if you'll do it right, don't worry, just grab a photo and throw it in there, especially one that you don't care about, so that we can edit it. And so usually it's crooked photos or photos that you would wish were a bit more, had more oomph, better color, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see. Thing is that I don't put all my photos in here. I only put some that I've already kind of edited. So it's kind of weird, but yeah. Let me put, I already have a lot. I already did that. See, I made to be edited. I have 73 photos, but what I want you to do now, I'm going to get rid of my for editing, right? Because I don't want to have 2. So I'm going to delete this album myself. And here's my to be edited album. And so I'm going to work with that one. Okay. So I have, go ahead and throw at least 3 or 4 in there to start with. And then when you're done and you have, when you have about 3 or 4 photos in there, give me a yes. And if you've never edited photos, you might not know what's possible, then just be open to, surprises. Okay. I'm seeing yeses everywhere. Okay. So let's start editing photos. I'm going to go to my to be edited, and we're going to start with that. So first of all, I am going to look for a crooked photo here. See how the background of this photo is crooked? By the way, I'm noticing that this one is duplicate. You don't have to duplicate it for this work. This was an example of things that you might want to do and not do and correct and not correct. from last time that ended up being duplicate. But say that you want to duplicate a photo for a specific reason, how you would do it is simply right click and duplicate one photo. Boom. And now I have 3 of them, right? So in case you ever do want to duplicate a photo, that's how you would do it. I just hadn't shown it to you. You don't have to. Let me Command Z to undo that. And then I'm going to also remove this duplicate because I don't need duplicate. So I'm going to right click and remove, not remove from album. I'm going to delete one photo because I don't need 2 photos of the same thing. So now I have the one. Okay. But just showing you that probably was my demo of duplicating last class, and I left it duplicated. All right. So why do I say you don't need to duplicate it? It's because everything we do to a photo now, you can undo. So it's not like you're ruining the photo if you do it wrong or anything like that. Here's another photo. I guess I've used the same one in the past. It's also crooked. That is also duplicated. Let me just delete the duplicated photo. I guess I didn't clean up after my teaching it last time. Okay, so I'm going to use this one, which is pretty obviously crooked. I'm going to double click. So we're going to double click. And when you double click, the first step is double clicking. And once you look at it, you go, yeah, this one isn't only crooked, but it's also a little bit out of focus, and the sun and this a little bit bright on the face, whatever. It's just not a very good photo, but hey, all I really think I can do is fix the crookedness. Okay, well, we'll see if there's anything else we can do to it. But right now that we want to fix it, we're going to head up here to the word edit, far right, edit. See that?
Yes.
And I click on the word edit. This new screen pops up, new column pops up on the right. All right, so now, if you've never used this before, you might have a few, I think at first a few of these are open, but you can open them or close them. All these words have a little arrow, and I'm not sure when you first use it, if they're open already or not, or if you have 1 or 2 versions, maybe 1 or 2 and 3 are open. I don't remember what the default setting is when you've never used it, but let's close them all. And let's only open the one called light. And I'm going to show you this one first, even though I said I wanted to crop it, but I want to show you what first is happening. Now over here at the top, it says adjust, filter, crop, or cleanup. Adjust is the one that we're in, so it's a bit lighter. You can adjust light and color, make it a black and white, curves, levels. There's a bunch of stuff you can do here. Let me just show you the first one because they all have 2 or 3 ways of using. First, you might not know how to fix this yourself, so you can just click on the word auto. That's the most brainless way. It's like, okay, auto, what does the computer think? Boom. And did you notice that it kind of lightened it? It's only fixing light. And it gave me a check mark. So just look at my photo. I'm going to check mark to undo that. Not to undo that. Sorry, I'm going to do the reverse window, the reverse arrow to undo that. I'm going to try it again. Auto. And can you guys see? Does it translate for you guys that something changed in the color?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, it might be right or wrong. I might have not agreed with that, or I might agree with that. I'm just saying that's what the computer is telling you. Now, notice when I do that, down here, there's a line in the middle that when I say auto, that line has moved up. And when I turn it off, it goes down. So that's what the computer thinks, that we need to move the light up to there and down. Okay, so that's the computer. Thanks for sharing. Good. Let's go down. What's the second way of doing it? Maybe you love it and you leave it there. Let's assume we're going to learn a different way of doing it. So say no. The second way of doing it is you click and drag and move this back and forward. So really light or really dark, really light or really dark. So you get to choose, no, I'd prefer to darken it, or I want it much lighter, or I want it in the middle, or I want it wherever I want it. So that's your choices. Does that make sense? Now, these are global corrections. Now, what do I mean by global? If I say light, auto, or if I move it here or there, everything at once is getting lighter. Everything that was getting lighter. If I make it to the left, everything is getting darker. So everything gets lighter, everything gets darker. All right, so what's the problem with that? Sometimes in a photo, some things need to go lighter and others need to go darker. Like not everything always has to go a light or everything has to go dark. Does that make sense? Sometimes you would rather have the face be a bit darker, but then the other side be lighter or something like that. So do we have that option here? Yeah, so I showed you one option is auto, one option is you move it yourself, and another option is down here where it says options. I'm going to open this little arrow. Ooh, now I have some interesting choices where I get to choose each one of these to move some things lighter, some things darker. So for example, I'm going to go to brilliance and make it lighter, but not the whole photo is in darker. I'm going all the way to the light and all the way to the dark. And not all the photo is going light or dark. See how the sky is barely changing? And it depends on the photo you have. So if you do that to your photos, you might see a difference, but it's only choosing the lightest things to make lighter or darker. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to the middle, and I'm going to try what each one of these things does. Exposure, on the other hand, is the same as that. That was exposure. If I make exposure up, everything gets lighter or everything gets darker. Everything is, so this basically is what we were moving here, right? So that one there is exposure. Now, highlights, it's only tackling the highlights. So I kind of like that because the faces, which were a little bit intense, I can darken a little bit more without making the whole picture darker. Now I'm going to keep bringing them in and out to the middle so we can see what each one does. We're not changing the photo yet. Shadows is any tone that's deeper than middle tone gray. So I grab my shadows and I make my shadows only darker or my shadows lighter. Notice that it isn't affecting the faces too much, right? It's just more selective. Brightness, that is global. It makes everything brighter or darker. Some are global, some are not. Contrast makes the lighter stuff even lighter and the darker stuff even darker, which is kind of the opposite of what we want in this case, or go opposite. And contrast down never works too well. It always looks a little bit weird. And then the darkest tones, the black point. I can make my blacks darker, my lights. So only the blacks. See how the face barely changes. So these numbers allow us to move only the things we want. So in this case, I might decide that I want my highlights to be a little bit darker because I want the faces to not be so light. But then I want my shadows to go darker. And then I might want the sky to get a little bit brighter, and black point a bit darker, add a bit of contrast. So some things need to go to the right, some to the left. Bring up the exposure, bring down the brilliance. So I basically made choices. They might be right or wrong, but how do I see the before and after of that? Well, if I want to see only the before or after of one of my features, I can simply go to this little light. So everyone stop doing whatever you're doing and look at what I'm showing. See this little check mark here?
Mhm.
I can go on, off. This was the photo before, and this is it now. And you can go, is it better or worse? And I thought it was a bit murky before. I like the contrast better now. That's, I can see the before and after. Later, when I have more things selected, I can do before and after over here, where it goes before and after, before and now. Like, see what it was like and what it's now, what it was like and what it's now. But that turns everything on and off. These are individually. Now, since we only have that, that works for light. All right, so play around with whatever photo you chose and play around with the light just to see what it's like. And it'll take some time to read a photo and decide what's the right position for things or not. But I'm going to go ahead and eliminate everything I've done, which is, how do I eliminate everything I've done? I go to this back arrow again, and I'm back at 0. So I'm back at nothing. And watch for a minute. So I clicked on that and everything I did went away. With the options opened up, when I hit on auto, that's what auto had done. It had done a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. It's actually the opposite of what I chose. It kind of made everything lighter, and I can see the before and after, and still, I think I still prefer what I had done. So I'm going to delete that again, and now I'm going to go back to doing what I had done, which I believe I had actually gone a little bit under on things. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. I'm kind of guessing because I'm throwing them here and there. I think something like that is what I had done. So now you get to make your own choices and leave them moved. And when you're done with that, you can collapse light and you go, okay, that's it for light. And after that, we're going to go move some other, we're going to go and do the crookedness of it. But there's much more to do. Any questions about light? Did that work for you? Of course, if you had a photo that was too dark or too light, that might have helped. But if you had a regular photo that you didn't think need fixing, it might have helped as well. Let me stop this for a minute. I'm going to come back, but I want to show you. I'm going to say done. Everyone, let's say done to whatever step you're in. Let's go to the top right and say done. And now you'll see up here on the top right of this image, you'll see appear this little icon, which are those sliders that we just moved back and forth.
Right.
Means this photo has been edited. Okay. So if I back out, there it is. Those sliders exist now. That means I've edited that photo. So that means I've already edited this one in the past. That means I've already edited this one. See, whenever I see those sliders, it means I've already edited that photo. Even if a little bit or a lot of it, just by touching on that, I've edited it. Okay. I can double click and open it again and keep editing it. I'm going to hit the edit button and I'm back in the same place. And I can still, if I don't like it, I can go in, nah, I really wanted it brighter or darker or whatever, or I can still eliminate all those choices all at once again. So it's not stuck with the photo. It's not like you painted it with a Sharpie marker. You can just go and keep moving things around to your heart's content. Or you can say, revert to original, way over here. Let's just erase all of that and start from zero again if you're not sure you like what you did. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to work on the fact that it's crooked. So I'm going to leave the adjust and I'm going to go all the way to crop. Click on crop. If you're still working with the others, don't come, just come to crop, even if your photo doesn't need to be straightened or cropped. But if you do have one that can be cropped, that's good. Choose one that has to be cropped.
Okay. Where was crop? Oh, there's crop. Okay.
There. And so now we have a completely different set of tools here on the right side. And our photo now has these little hands. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I want to straighten it. If you don't have to straighten it, do this anyway and unstraighten your photo, and then you can straighten it back. And it shows me three choices: straighten, vertical, and horizontal. I'm going to go over the top one, and I'm going to start moving it back and forth. And see how it puts these grids in there, and it makes it easy for me to kind of mark my horizon with one of those grid lines, so I can know when to stop because I can go over. So once it looks like that horizon is parallel with that grid line, notice that it's giving me a ghost line of my image outside, see? And whatever's left is going to be cropped out. Okay, so now I'm going to back over there. And that's about right. And I let go. So I lost a little bit of image. It had to zoom in a bit, but that was straightening it in that direction. Now this photo doesn't need it, but let me show you what vertical or horizontal would do. Sometimes you have an image that's off sideways. So vertical would bring the front or the back, which is typical like of buildings or houses that you might need to do something like that. And this one is horizontal, sideways or sideways. So in this case, it doesn't need any of those. So I'm going to leave those at 0. Okay. But that was all it took to straighten it. I might want to flip it, which you have to be very careful when there's people or words not to flip it because it would go crazy, right? But if I'm done, I can now say done. And that crop stays. Of course, I can always go back and revert to original. Now, what if I wanted to crop it again? I'm going to crop it, but I wanted to crop it closer. I wanted to, eliminate the bodies, and I just wanted to do that. So now I am making it just a face portrait. But if I'm not sure I want that, I can Command Z to undo. Be careful with revert to original. Revert to original takes this and the light changes away. So if I just want to undo the crop that I did, then we go down here to reset, okay? So that will take both the light and the crop away, really reverting to original. But here is like, nah, I would rather see their bodies. Okay, so reset. But the straighten also went away. You see that? So now I have to re-straighten it. Now, I'm in freeform mode, which is why I was able to just do that. I could also then say, I didn't want that, so I can pull it down again. Boom, I grabbed it and I pulled it down again. So I undo it by pushing or pulling, okay? But that's only because it's here, I'm gonna hit escape. Oh, it's not letting me escape. I'm gonna say done. I wanted to show you, I'm gonna edit again. I'm gonna go to crop. That straight is still there. And I could still lose it. Like I stopped, I said done, and I left. Okay, I'm done. But I'm like, oh, maybe it's not straight enough, or maybe I want to recrop it or whatever. I go back to edit and go back to crop, and all my image is still there. Like I can stretch it out again. Like I can go back in and I can unstraighten it. Anything you do can be undone is the point I'm making. Does that make sense? You're not stuck with any choice. So it's okay. You can make mistakes because you can just go all the way back to where you were. Now, in this case, it does need to be straightened. So I'm going to re-straighten it, but I'd rather not crop it. Now, what if I had, instead of free form, what if I had one of these forced ratios? When would you want a forced ratio? Have you ever had a photo that you want to fit into a already purchased 4x7 frame or 4x5 frame or 8x8 frame? You know what I mean? Your photo is already has a place it's going to go to. You have the size it needs to be. So if this photo has to fit into 5x7 frame and I click on 5x7, see how it became a bit skinnier? If I have to put it in a 16x9 frame, then it got even skinnier. If I need to put it in a 4x5 frame, which is equivalent to an 8x10, then it got fatter. So it's just different formattings. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Bring you a bit more or a bit less depending on what's needed.
Wow.
Okay. So then you can really make your photo when you print it, you cut that and fit it, and it's exactly right for a 5x7. But if you were to put it in a 8x10, the proportions would need to be a bit wider and a bit shorter. 5x7 is longer proportionally. Okay. If you're in free form, then you can give it whatever shape you want, but then you have to find the frame that fits it, right? Because this is not a traditional frame. But you might want to print it with white around it and put it in a bigger frame. So that's fine. So freeform allows you to crop whichever way you want. Okay. All right. I'm going to reset all of those different crops. And the only thing I'm going to do to this one ultimately is straighten it because that's the only thing it really needed. And when I'm done, now I'm going to say done. Cool. When I go back, I've got all my other to be editeds there. When you decide that you don't want no, I'm trying to think of something. I don't have any, these are duplicates. Trying to think two of the same moment. Give me and I'm going to give you an example. Two photos of the same moment. Do I have many photos of the same moment? Of the same place, same light that aren't copies, right? Because here I know I have a copy or two. This is when I was purposely making copies to show. This and this are different photos of the same place, right? But it's the same-ish lighting. And let me just tell you why I'm talking about. Here's two photos of the exact same thing, the exact same angle. Let me hit the space bar to see it bigger. This one and this one. See how it's two different photos of the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
And similar lighting. It's not like I came a different day or I went back and forth. So imagine sometimes you're photographing two or three of the same group of people smiling and you're not sure which one you want, right? So let's use this as that example. I'm going to go ahead and decide that I want to edit one of these, right? So I'm going to edit, hit the edit, and I'm going to do something ridiculous to it, okay? I'm going to make it be really dark all over, really, really dark. Just so that we can see something really crazy happening. Okay, so I made something crazy happen to this. I'll say done, right? Say that that was the right correction for this thing. Now I have 5 more photos of that moment. I can right click. I can copy the edits, right? I'm going to say copy. Then I go to the next one and I can right click and I can paste the edits to that one. So see how it turned just as bad? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
My just wanted to. So the goal isn't to make them just as bad. The goal is that ideally you'd have let me I'm just trying to see see them next to each other, but no matter what I do, they're on the other side of each other. Here's one and here's the other. Now the goal was to have 5 family groups. You fix one, right? And then you just add that to 5 and they all look good. In this case, I forcefully made them look bad so you could really see the same thing applied to both. No issue. I can just double click, edit. This is not the one I had fixed, but I can just revert it back to the original and say done to that one. And then I can revert this one back to the original and say done. And now they're both good again. Does that make sense? So just, it's not like all the work you do in one photo, then you need to reinvent the wheel for the next photo. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that. Let me go back to my to be edited. So now let's do some more work with a photo. I have, here's an image that needs to have some color and it needs to be cropped. And I'm going to double click. Here we go. And it needs to be straightened. There's not much color in it. So there's not much to that. Let me see if I find one that has more color. How about this one? I don't know. Let me see. Oh, look, dog.
Yes.
Shetland sheepdog. It's a Sheltie. That's my little guy who just passed away a few months ago now. My little Skylar. Anyway, and yes, he was a Sheltie mix. Okay. Now, there's a couple of different things. First of all, when that little signal happens, when it happens, it also shows up here too. And it's that same idea. Get info and look up this dog. And I don't know if you noticed, but right now, look at that. If I turn this off, it goes away. I'm wondering, was it Mary Jean or Georgia? You were showing me a cat. Do you have this thing there?
Wasn't me. It wasn't Georgia.
Was it Mary Jean? Who just showed me the animals? Was it Linda? Okay, it's someone who's not present right now. I see quite a few people with their sounds. Okay, I'm wondering if that would have turned it on and off, and you could use that to figure it out. Anyway, let's head over to edit. Let's not head over to nothing. Before we go into edit, there's one more place where you might fix a photo. So here I have a photo, and before I hit edit, right in front of edit, there's this thing which is like a magic wand. And if you click on that, that's the auto enhance. The computer looks at it and tells you what it thinks you can do. And it was a slight adjustment. This is a good photo, good lighting, so it didn't do much. But if I turn it on or off, it goes from there to there. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's not much of a change, but on some photos, it would be a big change. Let me just film a photo that's not good. This one, I told you, is a sky. Let's see if I hit the auto, what it thinks needs to be done. Whoa, made it even darker. You see that?
Yeah.
So this is some photos, it seems to do more or less. This is auto enhance. It kind of like does it for you without going to the edit. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. That's fine. I'm going to double click this one. And here's the auto enhance. Oh, I like what it did to the auto enhance. See how everything was kind of much blah. And when I clicked auto enhance, look at how much brighter the yellow is and the clouds are. So that one works. So I'm going to keep working with this one. I'm going to turn off the auto enhance and I'm going to hit edit. And I'm going to show you some more choices. First of all, of course, we can go in here and we can hit auto, and we can see what auto did, and we can go, no, I want more of this, more of that, more or less of this, less of the, we can move things around ourselves, right? But then we can also play with color. So let me head down and open color. And color opens the same way as light did. Here, let me close light so it's less confusing. I open color. And I have the auto choice. I have the move things around choice, or I have the options choice. So if I try auto first, and it's pretty subtle, but yeah, the colors have gotten a little bit brighter with what they said to do. Then I can choose to make the colors either go away, it's black and white, or enhance them to the point that it's like neon, right? So I can move that around. Depends on my choice. Or I can move these myself. The safest one to use when you have people is vibrance, because if you use saturation, people's skin goes orange. So saturates is all the colors, and suddenly they look orange, and that looks neon. So when you use these things, you need to gently use them just a little bit, one way or the other. Vibrance, on the other hand, evens out, and anything that's already vibrant, it doesn't give it. And when it is, it needs it. So it's a bit more intelligent than saturation. And also, when I go all the way to the end, it preserves skin color. So now I have a lot of color in the photo, but it didn't get my skin to be orange. Okay, so that's safer for people to use vibrance. And then cast is if the photo is a bit, needs to go yellowish or bluish or reddish or, that kind of thing. So for the most part, unless it's wrong. So I'm going to give this one a lot of vibrance. That's much nicer. So then I turn that vibrance on and off. Maybe a bit of saturation. No saturation. No cast. I think I'm just gonna give it a lot of vibrance. Looks to me like it's also crooked, although it could be a hill. So I'm gonna head over to crop.
Crooked to me.
What's that?
Yeah, it looks crooked to me too.
There, I straightened it a bit. Okay.
Although now the guy is leaning over.
Which
Look
she
at,
is too, which I guess when people hug each other, when their feet are farther apart and they're together,
oh, he looks to me like he's now leaning forward.
falling over. How about there? Somewhere in
That's
between.
better.
Yeah. Okay. I go with George's choice. Yeah, because that could be a hill in the background and they still need to look like they're going straight. Okay, so that's light, that's color. What if I want to make them black and white? Well, I can do that. I can make them black and white, but there's different versions of black and white where certain things are darker or lighter, and I can do that. If I'm not sure, I'm going to go to options. And again, I'm going to make it more or less intense, more or less the neutrals, more or less the tone, add some grain. I actually don't want to have at all any black and white in this one. So I'm going to revert all of it and keep it in color. But that would be where I do black and white. If I have a photo that has red eye, I have a sample here somewhere. I'll go get one. You can fix it with this. Anyway, so there's tons of choices here that you can keep working with. I can decide to make it sharper. That would be definition. Try to sharpen it, but depending on the photo, it works better or not. It's a bit of a contrast. Selective color is kind of cool. You can say, I want my greens, I'm clicking on the green, to be a different color. So now my greens are going yellow, or my greens, see that?
That's autumn. That's more autumn, and that's more spring.
This is more like Santa Barbara, and this is the East Coast. They're East Coast people. And I always send them that, and they're like, oh, look, you're in California. Or I can bring it back and decide that I want the pinks and the flower. And suddenly the flowers are changing a bit, you know. Anyway, just a different set of choices. Or I can select with my eyedropper the color of the flower. And then I can say I want the flowers to change. But I guess the color of the flowers is very similar to the color of their skin. How funny. So then their skin is changing. So that was a bit neutral. So that's the eyeball. I'll say change the sky, the blue. So I selected the blue right there. And now I'm gonna, did I select the blue? It's not showing me blue. I'm gonna select blue, that's easier. I'm gonna make it be a alien green sky. His blue clothes also turned green, okay? So this is a bit, you know, iffy because what is really gonna change when you have, you'd think yellow is only in a flower, but it turns out all the grass has yellow too. So anyway, you have to be a bit more careful with that. But anyway, that's what we do with color. And I'm going to saturate it a little bit more on the blue. So I now saturated the sky, made it a little bit darker. So that changed the sky color a bit. And I want to see the before and after. Turn this on and off. So that's all I changed is the sky. But you can see all the places where I've been making a change have little knots on them. So I can see the before and after of sharpness, the before and after of selective color. But if I say, not revert to original, I would lose everything. But if I go to this one, I see before and after of everything. This is how the photo started. This is where it is now. Started, this is where it is now. And I didn't make such a big change to start with, but when I added light and color and definition and selective color, suddenly there's, you know, a lot seems to be changing. Another one that could be fun is the vignette. The vignette allows me to give the edges an ending. Some photos need it. This one doesn't necessarily need it because it's so well centered on them. But sometimes there's a photo that is a bit amorphous and it's good to bring your eyes in. So then you can make a vignette and it can either be to the left, it's white, which I don't like white vignettes, or to the left is black, which I don't like black vignettes either. But what I do like sometimes is just a little bit. You can barely tell. No one can tell there's a vignette, but the corners are darkening itself just a little bit and it's there. So this is no vignette and this is vignette, right? You can see it when I put it on, but when I leave, you don't see it. But it gradually leads our eyes in because you don't kind of go off the edges with it. So vignettes done gently can be really useful. So now this is my before, my after of this image. Looks like a happier spring. I probably feel like I went a little bit too intense on the vibrance, so I'm going to back out a bit on the color and back and forth. I'm liking it better now. I also think that they're not really well centered, so I'm going to go back into the crop. I'm going to take a little bit off of this side so that that is a better choice. I'm going to say done, and yeah, so I like that better. And if I'm not sure if I go before and after, the crop doesn't show me the before and after. I can undo it, but this before and after is for all the adjustments. Okay. And the crop, you have to go back to the crop tool to see the before and after. All right. So that's what I've done to this one. One more thing. What if you want to apply a funky filter? So I'm going to get a photo that's pretty colorful. Let's see which one to choose. I'm not sure that a big orange photo is the best, but let's see. Not sure that this will work, but I'll open this one up. So here's an example where, oh, look at my babies. My used to be babies. They're not babies anymore. What if I want to apply some funky filters to this? So I'm going to hit the edit. And up here in between adjust and crop, there's filters, and then there's cleanup. Cleanup is artificial intelligence. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a bit. But right now, most importantly, I'm going to talk about the filters. So let's go to filters. If I don't know where to start or don't know what to do, I could also come over here and go, well, let's just see some special filters. So original is what the photo came as. Vivid made all my photos from original to vivid, really bright. Now this is from original to vivid warm. Keep going back from original to vivid cool. So it's bluer. The other one was yellower. From original to dramatic. From original to dramatic warm. Original to dramatic cool. So it's basically just different choice. It's not crazy filters. It's just ways of setting up an image that you might like better. For example, I like the vivid warm on this one. That was pretty nice. Or the dramatic.
Yeah, the dramatic one.
Dramatic was pretty nice. That one.
Yeah.
Sharpened it. Right. So say that I choose dramatic, I have added a filter to it. And this is the before and after. Look at how much neater their faces look and sharp and right.
Yeah, and you don't lose the cheekbones with this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Some of them kind of,
So sometimes these are gimmicky and sometimes they really work. Here's 3 versions of black and white. So I like what it did. If I go back to adjust now, none of these show up as adjusted, even though that dramatic filter is a combination of having added or taken away. But instead of doing all that, I tried these first. And if I like it, I like it. That's good. Now, one thing that I like is that they're in the snow and the snow is a bit too bright. You can't see the snow too well. So I'm going to head over here to the highlights and I'm going to darken the highlights and see how suddenly you see the snow around them, which before you couldn't see. So the snow is so bright, just looks like a bunch of white. But if I darken the highlights, now you can really see the chunky snow. But I lost a little bit of the lightness in their face. Maybe I can make it work a little bit on brilliance or on the shadows. I'm going to lighten the shadows a little bit. Yeah.
you lose the snow though.
No, not really. If I lighten the shadows, because the shadows are not a highlight. See, if I'm lightening the shadows, look at how much I'm changing the kids, but the snow isn't changing, right?
Yeah.
I'm just brightening the shadows. So now
Interesting.
I've got the kids back up, the highlights darken. And that's the beauty of darkening the lights and lightening the shadows. Because in this case, the kids had gone dark, but now the highlights stayed. So yeah, that's a perfect example of now if I had done brightness, yes, because the whole brightness is
Yeah.
hiding the snow. But I lightened up the shadows and the snow is not considered shadow. So anyway, I play around with those things and you end up with a photo that you like better. So this is before and after. Now I do think the red became a bit too vivid. I'm going to color and desaturate it just a teensy bit. That's a bit more realistic to the color. It was a bit too neon-y there. That's a bit better. So anyway, lighten the exposure a teensy bit. But if I do lighten the exposure, I will lose the snow. A little bit more brilliant. Anyway, I'm liking it. And remember that whatever you see on your screen might not be the same thing I see on my screen because I'm projecting it on Zoom and whatever, right? But there you go. I really like between that. It was so bright around them, I couldn't really see the kids too much. By doing that, yes, I'm aware they're in the snow, but I can focus on the kids more because my eye isn't being blinded by all that snow. Does that make sense? So, photo that was fine the way it was, but I managed to enhance it with all these editing tools. Maybe I'll add a little vignette to it to just keep our eyes inside the image. There we go. And I like it. I'm going to say done. Yay. I like that better than I did before. And if I don't like it, I go back to edit and I revert to original and I'm back to that one, right? So yes, I'm more than happy to have us work with people who have photos you want to share your screen that you want to just work on, and I can give you some ideas of what to do to make your photo better. But yet, Blas?
Yes, can you zoom in and out as part of the editing process?
Yeah, that would be cropping. So yeah, say that I'm gonna decide that I want to edit this one and I want to zoom in on this person, right? Which isn't really, but if I crop, I'll just crop into this person. Oh, I didn't mean to make it more crooked. There. And so when I let go, boom, I have zoomed into them. I can go even more. And I'll zoom all the way into them. Don't forget this is where we started, right? Now you have to be very careful with that because you need to have an image that has enough information, and that's got to do with pixels and whatever that you can do that, because of an image that's this big, I might want to print as an 8x10. If I then go and I just zoom into the person and I want to print that as an 8x10, it's possible that when I print this photo as an 8x10, it might not have as good as quality as it would have when I had it like that, right? Because you're zooming into something. So it depends on how old the photo is. Old photos don't tend to have that much. When I say old photos, give me a second. I need to press a button that's under my computer. 1 second. There we go. Old photo that you've scanned in might have a lot of pixels, but an old camera, like if I took it with my iPhone 3 versus my iPhone 17 or whatever the names of the phones were at that point, it just didn't collect as many pixels. So those photos might not be able to be printed as big. Now, when you have a photo now, you want to print an 8x10, no problem. It'll print beautifully at 8x10. But if of that photo, you're trying to just print that one little head that's in the middle and you crop that in and you want to make that 8x10, it'll get a bit distorted just because you're trying to get a ton out of a small little bit of it, right? So if this is the only thing I wanted to crop the print out of this photo, and I crop this so much that I'm cropping into the portrait and I want to make that into an 8x10, see how the quality now is breaking up because there's just not enough information there. It's just a pixelated mess. Okay. So yeah, you have to be careful with cropping in too much, but you can crop in some. Still get a good shot out of that if I did this, for example. Now, of course, in this photo, I like all that space that he's got. This is in Death Valley. So I wouldn't want to crop it too much, but I might want to crop a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna revert this one. What's that?
I was just going to say, I think having figures dead center is usually boring.
Oh, yeah.
This is much nicer being off center.
Yeah, but sometimes it matters that you're really trying to talk about a certain person. You know, you want a portrait of that person or something like that, if you were to want to. But yeah, for the most part, definitely this one, that positioning is much more interesting. Yeah. I agree. So, but I might work on enhancing it a bit, maybe add some contrast to this one, could be interesting. If I did this in Photoshop, I'd be able to make that haze go away a bit more and it would be less hazy. This is the what you can do here in this app is pretty amazing. It's still not the same as much as we could do in Photoshop, but it's still really good. So I can play around with things until I find a better exposure for it. I like that with that darker and him standing out with the light and it better. Give it a bit of color. So if I do that before and after, you might like that better, or you might prefer it to be a bit more hazy. But it really changes the photo to do that or this, right? So at some point, it's a choice. Post-processing is always like a choice. It's like art. When do you do? When do you not do? How much do you start? So there's something about fixing things, and there's something about recreating the look of it. I think between that and this, it's two different photos. Other photos, it just makes a difference. Now I'm going to stop that and I'm going to show you how to do this on your computer, on your phone, because we can keep working forever on that, or we can work equally on the phone. So let me pull up the phone. And here we go. All right. Cool. So here we go. We have our photos. And if we want to edit something from here, I need to change glasses when I look at my phone. It's up close so much. There, that's better. Okay. So now let's edit a photo from here. I don't know which photo. Let's go with, I don't know, that one. So I'm going to work on editing this photo. So I select it first. Ooh, so sorry. And then I'm going to head down. I need my note taking up. Here we go. Here's the pencil. So see the little icon, the slider icons that we've been seeing up until now? Same little icon. Click on that one. And this has entered the adjustment mode. See how down here, the first thing is option, it offers you. So let me clear that little circle. Okay, so let me cancel again and show you one more time. You have to go and click on this guy there. And now you see live adjust. Oh, I didn't show you the AI choice in the computer. I'll show it to you in a bit, but I don't want to forget. But now we're in cancel or done, right? And in the adjust mode. So this first choice, if I click on it, is the automatic, the same one that I showed you that was auto before. So click on that and let's see what the computer does. And the computer thought I should lighten it a bit and then I'm going to let go. So that's, I turn it on, one off. I turn it on or off. And I can like it or not like it, but there you go. That's what the computer did. This is a bit of a silhouette. There's not going to be much to it, but let me show you where all the choices are. So see, we're in the adjust mode. Before we were in the adjust mode in the computer, right? Now we're in the adjust mode, and the first choice is the automatic one. Then I'm going to say no to it. So I'm turning it off. And I'm going to go, what's the next one? That's exposure. Okay. So if I click on exposure, right? Over here, I can move this to the left or to the right. So the center point 0 is no change. And I brighten it or I darken it. I brighten it or I darken it. Now exposure is global. So the whole thing is lightening or darkening except for black. Black doesn't get changed because I'm going to probably choose a different photo because this whole black area won't change much. So let me hit cancel. So none of this gets, let me choose a different photo. Since I made some changes, are you sure you want to discard the changes? Yeah, discard the changes. I'm going to choose a photo that has more options to change because although the sky is fun, nothing under the black is going to change much. So I backed out and let me choose a photo that has much more to it. It's too confusing. This is going to show us quite a bit of colors and difference. Okay, so I'm going to open this one and I'm going to go down here to change it. Okay. And the only problem, I wish we could go sideways on this and see it bigger, but even when you go sideways, it doesn't get much bigger. It does actually for you guys, but for the phone, it doesn't get much bigger. But actually for what I'm demoing, it does, but the tools are sideways. So anyway, you might want to look into that. Okay, so now my adjust mode, auto. Whoa, and that's what the computer, auto, big change on this one, what it says I should do, right? Before and after. I don't like, so I'm going to turn it off, but it stayed in dark mode. Is it the one? Because I had two different ones. Yeah. I had a darker one and a lighter one. Am I starting with a lighter one? Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to press that one. I pressed the info instead, so I need to go press this one. Okay, so now let's move to exposure, where I can go light or dark, light or dark. I'm going to go and keep finding it back to 0. Then I can move over to brilliance, and I can make it more bright or less bright, right? And I can choose to see more of the outside of the building or the inside of the building. I keep bringing it down to 0. When I'm done with that choice, I'll move over to highlights. And then I get to put my finger here and go to the right or to the left. So I'm just working on the highlights, and there's not many highlights in this image. Some over here are changing color, right? And so then back to 0. So I'm not choosing any. When I'm ready to actually alter this image, I have to at some point choose some, right? But now I'm just giving you the tour of the options. Now it's the shadow. So the inside is probably going to darken or lighten. So lighter or darker. See how I can change all the inside of the, I'm inside of a building looking out, and now the inside is the shadows. I can lighten or darken them. Now I go to contrast. Light goes lighter, dark gets darker. So more contrast or less contrast. More contrast or less contrast. Okay. I see what happened with this one. This is one that I had already adjusted, and that's why you were seeing it light. And when I turned off the auto enhance, it went dark. I see now. I had worked on this one before. So brightness and black point. Darken or lighten the black point. So I could make it into a silhouette. Or I could just decide to see the insides. With everything back to 0, the next one is saturation. Make those colors much more intense. Or take color away completely. Black and white. And vibrance. Vibrance is make some colors brighter, but not everything. So I'm not trying to fix this photo. I'm giving you the tour of the tools. Please remember, I'm zeroing everything out. Warmth, make everything yellower is warmer, or bluer is colder. Back to 0. Tint, either greener or redder. Sometimes an image has some tint, like if you take it in green and fluorescent light, the photo turns out greenish. If you take it in tungsten light, it's reddish or orangish. Sharpness, you can make it sharper. Definition is similar to sharpness. It makes things more intense, more contrast and sharpness. Noise is something, if your photo has a lot of noises because you took it at night and it's full of little tiny grainy things, you can reduce the grain, but most photos taken in the daylight don't have noise. And then the vignette, the same thing that we had before, the vignette. So that's the tour of all those choices. Here are the same choices, and I'm going to go ahead and on this one, I'm going to say cancel for a second and discard changes. And this that I just showed you is the same as this. Adjust, light, color, black and white. It's these choices. Curves, level, balance that you didn't, it's more of the brilliance, exposure, highlights, shadow, darkness, black point, color, hue, saturation, curves, definition. Those that I'm opening right now are all the ones that noise reduction, sharpen, vignette. Everything that's open right now is the stuff that we just saw on the phone. I didn't show you on the phone black, white, red eye, white balance, curves, or levels because those don't exist on the phone. But everything else that I've shown you here is all the tools that we just did on the phone. Josie, were you able to work on any photos in the phone? Anyone else, by the way? Did you choose a photo on the phone and modify it?
I was going along with you,
Oh,
and
going back and forth. Okay. So now let's choose a photo that it's interesting. I just found when I said tint or cast, I just found a perfect photo to share with you for that. Let me say done to this one. And remember in the photos of the wedding in Paris, this one, who knows what color light they had? I don't know if it was dance time or whatever, but see how it looks all purple and yellow. This might be one where if you go to the color cast, you can make them appear a bit more regular skinned people. See that? Just by going to the colors. And this is the before and after. Now, of course, this is probably light from a dance scene or whatever. So it was supposed to make them look that way. But there we go. Now they look like regular skin colored, right? From that. So sometimes you have a need for that kind of color correction.
I
I'm
like the wild color.
What's that?
I like the wild color.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna leave it the wild color because it is the moment. It's supposed to be that, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a colored cast that comes in the photo because the lighting was weird or bizarre. So, but in this case, it's they're dancing at her wedding, her daughter's wedding, and they probably had lights on, and that's just fine with this photo. So that's why I actually didn't
Change.
change it, right? But it's an example of how much you can change color cast. It's not changing the colors of a color, it's the lighting in an image. That would be the cast. And
I like that it has that option. That's great.
yeah. And it's typical of old photos that were taken indoors and you had tungsten lighting and suddenly everyone looks orange. Like if you look at me in the video right now, I look very orange. This video is picking up this orange light. If you were to take this picture and edit it, you would be able to get rid of that orange cast that it has that the zoom camera is picking up on right now. Does that make sense? So anyway, I just thought that would be a good example to show you of when a photo can have a certain cast. All right, so before I go back to the phone, I wanted to show you the artificial intelligence that exists here in the computer, since I'm back at the computer and I'm trying to find a photo where it would make sense. Oh, okay. I just saw this one right now. I'm going to use that one, but this one You know how sometimes you have things sticking into your image that you didn't mean? Like if this was a portrait and suddenly this was sticking in over their heads and I didn't want it or something like that. So I'm just throwing out an idea. Or maybe I don't want all these bushes over there because I just want this shape or something like that. So things that you want to get rid of. Now, there's such a thing as getting rid of stuff that's, a zit on a face. If I find one later, I'm going to do that. Whoops. But right now, I'm going to see if there's something we can eliminate here with the cleanup tool that they have. So I'm going to hit the edit. And there's the adjust, filters, crop, and cleanup. If you guys are in Ventura or Sonoma, I'm not sure if you see the cleanup. You tell me. I know that I see the cleanup in Sequoia. Do you guys see it in yours? No? Let me
No,
feedback.
it's not on Sequoia.
It's not in yours? Well, mine's in Sequoia, so I'm seeing it.
Yes, it is. I have it.
Blast, you don't see it?
No,
Huh. Blas, are you using your,
Try with a different image, just in case.
he might, is it because you're using your iPad? You're on your iPad?
no,
Well,
I'm
he's
on the computer.
Oh, I don't know then.
okay. Try with a different image to see if something else comes up,
Okay.
because I can't completely guess. Let me just show you what it does. If you find something that's in the way that you don't want, like a little trash can behind the image or something like that. So right now I'm going to say that when I did the cleanup, it reads it and it says, click, brush, or circle what you want to remove. So that's for erase and then retouch. And erase and retouch work differently. Retouch and erase work differently. So let me see which one I'm going to choose first. I'm going to go to the first one is erase. And see the size of my tool? I can make this be a bigger tool or a smaller tool, right?
Oh,
So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go ahead and try to erase this thing. And I'm going to click around this and I'm going to surround it. I don't need to necessarily fill it in. As long as I close and surround it, that's good enough. Here, let me take it all the way to there. And you can fill it in or not, but if you just surround it, that's enough. And then you let go. And the computer analyzes that and it's thinking, and boom. Pretty cool.
yes. I eliminated 3 people.
It doesn't do as well sometimes on the shot on the edges, but let me give it a try if I want to get rid of this tree here. And I don't know, I'm accustomed to filling it in, but you don't have to. And it's thinking, see now, see how edges, it gave me something that's like a scary monster. So that was worse than what was there. Um, that's the going on. So I'm going to do Command Z because that I did not mean to add a gargoyle. Maybe a little bit at a time. What if I try that? It's just that edges are really confusing for these things. Okay, that worked better. And there. Yeah, edges are not the forte of these tools. Oh, that worked. So if you do it a little bit at a time, seems to be able to handle a bit at a time. Ooh, now it added. I don't know. This corner seems like too much, but let's try it. Ah, it did it.
Yeah, it did.
Diana, I have a question, Mary Jane.
Little bit by little bit, it got rid of that whole plant. What's that?
I don't have cleanup. I have adjust filters and crop. Is it because
Are you in Sonoma?
I have Sonoma, right?
I don't know because Blas has Sequoia and he can't see it either. Let me go
Yeah.
ahead and I'm
No, no, that's fine. I will never do half of this editing, so that's fine.
gonna revert to original. Let me
Wow.
show you the difference between retouch. In this case, I'm using the same image. So in this case, it might be the same result or not. Sometimes you need to try it. One works better than the other.
No, but I don't have cleanup.
Yeah, I know, but I'm showing. So in
That's
this
great.
case, retouch worked fine. And let's see if with retouch in one fell swoop this goes away, or if I have to do the gentle approach like I did with the other one. Let me just see. Ah, look at that.
No.
Retouch took care of both in one fell swoop. Anyway, I'm going to revert because I didn't really want it gone. So that's one example. Now I'm going to get out of here, and the basic retouch has been there for a while. A place where I would recommend, and I don't have an example. I used to have a picture here of someone with a lot of zits that I use in Photoshop that you could, because that might be a good place. Let me go to when my kids were teenagers. I don't know that he's going to like this example, but here we go. So here's one of my kids with some zits on his head. So that's a more, it used to be that for those of you who don't have the cleanup up there, do you see over here a choice for retouching? A retouch right here? Because it used to be here before the whole automatic, before the full-on AI cleanups turned on, there used to be a retouch here, and it was just one of those tools. Do you guys see it there maybe under adjust? Okay, and so here I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to use a tiny brush. I'm going to go around and just take some of those zits off. I mean, I think I need to go a little bit bigger. And that's it. And that one. And that one. I'm sure he'll be much happier if he sees this photo without those zits, right? So yes, you can get rid of a garbage can that's behind you in the portrait that you didn't notice. Or in this case, you can make his forehead much better. And you can't tell right now because I'm going kind of one by one and it's just looking a little bit better. But let me show you in a second the before and after, and then you'll go, whoa. Okay, so it doesn't make it perfect. I mean, in Photoshop, we can actually make this look almost perfect. But there you go. Now look, before and after. Can you tell? Before and after, before and after. So
there
in
is a
that
slight
one-
difference.
Right.
what at?
Pretty subtle.
Can you do it again, please?
So here's the before.
And there's,
Focus
yeah,
on his forehead. And this is the after.
yeah.
Before and after, right? It's let me just do it with something. This isn't a zit, it's a mole, but let me take that one off. Mole is a little bit harder because so there's the before and after, right? Whenever you see that mole appear, or here there's a zit on his
Can you take his teeth out just to be silly?
it probably can't, you can, but it probably won't do a good job because it doesn't leave a gaping hole, it replaces it with something. So it'll probably be something really scary, like it'll fill in with red or something. Let's see what it does. Yeah. Ugh.
Okay.
It doesn't like leave a gaping hole. It just tries to see what's outside and it fills
And
it with that.
match
In
it,
this
yeah.
case, it sees what's outside of this zit and it puts in more of the skin that doesn't have zit. You know what I mean? So
Amazing.
it goes around its own self and it goes, I'll put more of what's here and here. So if you take teeth out, it'll put more lip in there, right? Which was like, but yeah. Now let's see what it would have done with the erase. I don't know, but would it have, is it the same result? Now that both are there, before only retouch was there. Now that both erase and retouch are there, and now I'm not going to fill in, I'm going to let it fill it itself. See, it's not that different, but this time it eliminated his mouth completely. And since it's my kid, that makes me not comfortable. So I'm going to stop doing that. I don't want to have nightmares.
Good mother, good.
Don't want to have nightmares with him looking at me that way. But anyway, here's the before and after of the zit removal, which I'm sure he's He would be very happy when he saw this photo to not have zits on his head. Mole, on the other hand, that's him. So it's weird that I removed the mole, right? Because now that mole is part of his face. So you have to be careful when you do this kind of retouching, if it's someone you know, not to take things that you think don't work, but that ultimately they have no problem with. So I'm going to revert back to who he is. There we go. That's who he was at 14 or whatever he was. He had zits. Anyway, let me show you that on the phone. So Blas, you tried it with other photos and you still don't have the cleanup? No
Yeah,
matter
no, I tried it with other photos, but I'll work with it later. Yeah,
cleanup doesn't show up?
maybe Martha can help me with my after class.
Well, I mean, if it's not there, it's not there. It's not about if the photo needs it or not. That's a feature that would be there. Just I'm trying to think where else. And you are in, I'm looking at about this Mac. I'm in Sequoia
I
57.2.
I have a retouch. Is that the same thing? Is that on
You
the?
have the retouch. See, that's what we had before. You had the retouch under adjustment. Okay. So that's the one before the AI one appeared. So retouch. Now it
No,
says you reach up and clean up, but yeah. So now on my phone, on the other hand, I have an old phone, and on that old phone, I don't have the retouch version, the automatic cleanup version on my iPhone 10, but I do have it. And now I'm going to talk you through what it looks like on my iPhone 15. Because this one I can't connect to the computer. It doesn't recognize it. But if I go to my iPhone 15 and I hit the same edit that I did before. So I'm going to share my regular phone with you guys. And I'm going to tell you where in my iPhone 15 I see it for those of you who have newer phones. Okay. So on this photo, when I go down to the same editing tools that we had before, I just see adjust, filter, and crop. But in my iPhone 15, right here, I see cleanup. So depending on what phone you guys have, if you see the cleanup right there, and you click on it, I know that's my break. Just a second. It says again, it says preparing cleanup like it did on the computer. And let me see. I'm going to see during break if I can somehow connect this phone to that computer. Maybe with, it might let me. So now again, I'm at a place where it's saying tap, brush, or circle what you want to remove. And I have a starfish here that I'm going to remove from this photo. And let's see, and it's doing it. It's thinking. And at some point it might remove it. Yep. Yeah, since it was a big part of the image, it wasn't the best idea, but it worked on my phone. Okay. Now I did instead some little rocks next to the starfish and it worked. I'm gonna go ahead and see over break if I can share with you guys my other phone. But let's meanwhile take a break. Okay. What time is it? 2:55. So that means let's see you here be back at 3:10. I was about to write AM. All right, 3:10 p.m. Okay, see you guys in 15. Hi, sorry about that. I had to take a little bit longer. Turns out we have surprise people coming for dinner tonight. I'm teaching up until they come for dinner. I was desperately putting the pillows up and stuff like that. Anyway, is anyone back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right. Give me a yes if you're back or turn on your videos if you turn them on. And I'm trying to see if I can share my other phone. Here, let me see iPhone via AirPlay. Let's see what that would take. But you're not seeing my phone, are you? Because I'm not either. Stop my share.
Is it making noise? Ding, little dings?
No.
Oh, something turns.
Let me see. Give me a second. I think I'll try the same cable because I don't have the right cable. Maybe if I use this cable. Or this one. Give me a second. This one might work. Do I have a space left? I'm gonna try and see if I can do this phone with this cable. Um, so Blast, your hand is up or was up. It's not up anymore. Blast, did you have a question?
I wanted to say something. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. I wanted to clarify something. I want to apologize to you when I said I'll ask Martha. And it's not that I don't appreciate your help, it's that sometimes I make really kind of dumb mistakes. And
Yeah,
Martha says, it's right there, just poke on it or
Yeah.
click on it. Oh, oops.
I
Or
got
say, it's not working. And she says, oh, you misspelled your email address. And I go, oh.
I
So
got it.
that's why when I said, wait a minute, and I didn't want to take extra time from the class.
No,
but I-
got it. No, and no, I never don't feel, I mean, come on, Martha's right there. Of course, it's the right person to ask. No, I don't feel at all bad, but thanks for explaining that. It's just that sometimes people go, no, sharing my screen, it takes too long. I don't want to. And I just don't want people to hesitate to share because of that. That's all.
Okay.
But I want to make sure I need to turn off the other phone share because it's still wanting to share the first phone. Let's see if now it only assumes this phone. My last try, I've tried 4 ways. I think this should work now. But no,
Deanna, I was wondering if maybe it's the version of photos that why some people have the cleanup and some don't.
yeah. By the way, you guys are not seeing my phone, are you?
No.
Me neither. And I need to figure it out because oh, wait a minute. It would be helpful if I had connected it from the two sides. I connected one side, not the other. Let me back to it. Yes, the version. Oh, there we go. It's finally connecting. Okay, so this is my iPhone 15, which I don't usually share because, hold on. It's running me through a lot of permission settings. It's my personal phone, and sometimes I used to teach with my personal phone, and then it got a little bit weird when some people started asking personal questions. And so I don't, but now just gonna share this bit. Come on. Everything is working. Why is your screen sharing paused? Now it said yes to everything. One last time. Yes. Are you connecting a pair of headphones? No. Let me just say no to that. Okay. So this is my iPhone 15, and we were doing some tide pooling the other day and stuff like that. So I made a little, there's some photos here. Let me just scroll past them here. I found one. So I took a lot of photos of rocks and stuff. And here's an example. It's simply the texture of a rock, right? But say that I want to do some editing on here, and I hit this editing tool, and I click on that. See how here it says cleanup? And what the cleanup does is it first reaches out to see if there's anything it thinks I might want to clean up. Oh, maybe this isn't the one. I just tried a different one where it showed me some things because it might tell me to clean these things up. It might not. So I'm going to hit the word cleanup. And so at first it prepares and it reads it. And no, it didn't see any itself that I wanted. There's another rock photo that I found that it did. But anyway, what if, so this is a rock that has a texture and has a dent with a bit of sand. What if I say I don't want that there? So I don't know. See how it says brush, tap, or circle what you want to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that and see what it does. Nope, but did. I tried it a second ago, which is why I'm showing it. Let me try it again. I tried it with this photo and it worked. There we go. So see how it kind of recreated the lines? It's not perfect, and I wouldn't do it unless this was something, like I said, a garbage can sticking out behind my ears, but it worked. It works for things like these little dots, but what happens, there's another one that I had, let me reset that. There's another one I had found, and I went and put it, I made a collection, hold on. I just put 2 or 3 in here. So here, this one. So this one has, I opened this one to see, well, it has a bit of cluster on the sand, whatever, but it has that little person there. And when I told it to clean up, it considered that something that it might want to pick up. For example, if I hit clean up, it automatically circles things I might not want. And see how that little person that I just showed you, it made it light colored. And if because it feels like it's intrusive. So with my finger, I'm going to go touch that. Tick. Hold on, it's on the corner. And see how there, it disappeared it. You see that? So now it looks like no one was there. Now this, on the other hand, is more like the circle of the rock. I'm going to circle this and tell it clean up the beach, please, which is ridiculous, I know, but there you go. So things that you don't know that it wants, it does that too. It's thinking. And then cleaned it up. But see, I didn't include that bit that was sticking out. So it left it, but it kind of faded it in now as if it's burying under the sand. And over there, it took care of that guy. This is a bit crooked. But the one that was interesting, I'm going to reset. The one that was interesting, I told it, well, how about if I try to remove a person? So if I say clean up, it reads it. It doesn't find anything automatically, but I did this to this person. I circled it, me. And what it did is it put me in pixelation. Come on, you just did it for me. Why not do it in class? It just did it. Let me see if there. And it says identity protection applied. I had never seen this. This is new to me. You know how when you see photos that people publish where they want to hide their kids, or when you're trying to hide a certain person that's going to be published, they'll hide some faces because these 3 are the family of the murder, and you see the murder, but the 3 people's faces are crossed out. It's that kind of effect. I've never seen this. I didn't know the phone did this. So it probably thought that I wanted to hide the person. So anyway, just that was interesting. So I'm going to reset.
Which phone do you have?
This is an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Okay, because I have the cleanup option on my computer, but I don't have it on my phone, and my phone's a 14 Pro Max.
This here is an example. I tried this one first, and it has a little leaf over here. It has a little rock, like a bit of dirty stuff in here. So when I tried it on, this is what I did with my break, you guys. I don't know, other than fluff up the pillows because the people are coming, but I had to clean up. I was playing with this. And see how it automatically surrounded in white these two things that it figures are problems like dust or dirt. So if I go and just click this right now, bing, it activates it and it took it off and it was a little pebble and that was a little leaf. I'm going to click on that and activate it and boom, it got rid of that little leaf. You see that? Which had it been something that was dirty, that would work. Now for the rest of them, I think I tried eliminating that puddle. We were out in the beautiful tide pools and the rain that we just had. And let's see. No, it did it. It maybe because I didn't do a good circle this time. There.
Oh my.
It made it into rock. Before it had made it into flat rock, now it made it into deep rock. But anyway, yeah, if you look at this not knowing, that just looks like the rock didn't have that puddle there, right? I don't know if I were to try this, what would it do with that pattern? I haven't tried this one. Let's see.
Mm.
Anyway, just to see how far this, yeah, it kind of, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. It's part of the pattern, right? Anyway, I'm going to cancel that because I want to discard those changes. But yeah. And then the last one I wanted to show you really quick because I saw the photo of this heater, an example of what I was telling you about things that are angled wrong. And when you take a photo from above of something, it gets really skewed. So since I hadn't shown you the crop feature on the phone, I figured I'd show it to you with this one. I'm again going to go down to the crop, but this time I'm doing crop. And see, the choices are the three choices that we had on the computer. And at that point, we just used the straighten one, which is that version there. But this one instead also has these two, which are skew it sideways or skew it up and down. And see how I can almost straighten that, the perspective of that guy with this one here. Not that it's a good photo or not, but just showing you how, and this you can go sideways and anyway, and this one, of course, we already saw is for when something is skewed. But yeah, so that looks like I'm looking straight on at the fireplace when, if I hit reset, that's how that photo started, right? So when you have a building or something that you choose from you shoot upwards and you see the building all skewed like that, then this would help straighten that building. I just didn't have an example of that. I think those are the ones. Oh, and by the way, I was at the Wake Center on Tuesday, yesterday, and this amazing rainbow, a double rainbow appeared. Has anyone been at the Wake Center?
I saw that, yeah, too. And it did look like a double
That
rainbow.
double, yeah, I have photos of the double part, but this is when it started. When I came out of the class and saw it, and I'm like, oh my God, and I ran to get my camera. And then I went into the car and I couldn't leave. It was so beautiful. So I waited, and just a few minutes later, look at the sky. It had cleared up and that we still had that rainbow. And in between, we had the double, which you don't see in this photo too well, but that there, that thing, that's the double rainbow. But I have other photos where you see it bright in color up to here and then it disappears. So then I have some close-ups of that. But anyway, this is an image that I thought I'd use the phone now to edit. So if I hit the editing to try to see that rainbow a bit better, I just choose the editing tools. And the first thing I'm going to see is what the computer does with auto enhance. Not much because it lightened the trees and I don't really need for lighter trees. I want to see the rainbow better. So I'm going to move over and see if I can do better myself. And first of all, let me see if I go to saturation and intensify the colors. See how the sky is getting bluer and thus the rainbow is getting more intense as well. That might help. Or let me try instead saturation, vibrance. No, vibrance brings it down. Brightness. I don't think brightness will do it. Contrast. Ooh, that brought it some nice highlights. Lightening or darkening the sky. See how if I lighten it too much, it goes away. If I darken it, it stays there, but then it begins to look like night. radiance, a bit of exposure. And one thing that there. So I think that is better than before, but here's the only thing that I can't do in the phone is I can't see a before and after, right? So I have to
Right.
either trust that it worked or it didn't work. But I can tell from what I had done before that so I say adjust. So I'm going to say done to that one. And there we go. So that's what I have right now, which is much more distinct than what I had a bit earlier. Anyway, just showing you this is yesterday's beautiful rainbow, and that's about it for what I saved here to show you on my phone. But anyway, cool. So let me stop that share and go back to plug in my class phone. Okay, guys, give me a yes if you've gone through all the editing features. They all make, oh, no, I have to change. That's the wrong cable. Here's the right cable. Gets confusing because the old cable, the old phone and the new phone have very different connections and stuff. Here we go. Move this out of the way. All right, so how are we doing with editing, you guys? Give me a yes if you've tried it both on the computer or on the phone, and if you have questions on either one, of course. And yeah, you might say, I'll never use the phone or I'll never use the computer, depending. Some people don't use one or the other. That's fine. But on the version that you do use, are you comfortable with all the choices? There's more to the editing. I'm going to show you on the computer than on the phone. I'm going to show you now. But everything that we've done, you've been able to do, no questions. All good? Of course, it's a question of is it even working, right? Like if you don't have the cleanup, you don't have the cleanup. But if you do, all right, I'm seeing yeses everywhere. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my computer now. Okay, so I'm back in the computer, and there were some more versions that we didn't yet use. So I'm going to open this one up. And this is a typical old photo.
Yes.
Believe it or not, that's me in the time of life when I straighten my hair every day to have bangs because, you know, these curls had to be contained because if you have curls, you want straight hair, and if you have straight hair, you want curls. So this was me wanting curls. Not, and this is a photo of a photo. Okay, so this is the floor. This is the photos that you would print in those rounded corners. Is a photograph taken of a photo, and it's all faded and whatnot. We can't make it be perfect. In fact, there again, Photoshop, I can certainly make this photo look much better. But here, in the Photos app, I'm gonna hit edit. I can still do some work with it. First of all, I'm gonna hit the auto enhance, which is over here, just to show it to you. Boom, auto enhance. When I did it on and off, and all it did was make it even redder. So I don't like that. So I'm gonna unauto enhance it. Let me try some of the filters in case any of those help. It is too warm, so dramatic cool helps a little bit, or vivid cool help, but not too much. Many times these photos do get enhanced by turning them into black and white when their color is so gone that you can't help it, but none of those work. So I'm going to go back to adjust and try to do it by hand. So first I'm going to head over to the color, and the first thing I'm going to do is the cast. So see how it's kind of reddish and yellowish? So let me see if I can go, yeah, a little bit to the left, and the skin color is a little bit more, it's still washed away. I can't help that yet. But from there that we started to this, the skin's looking a little bit less bizarre. Okay. Then I'm going to go to selective color, and I've got lot of yellow in there. I'm going to try to bring the yellow, desaturate the yellow a little bit. That seems to be helping. So how do I check? Before and after. Okay, so I'm just getting a bit less color in there. Go to the green and let's see if it's how saturate the green a bit. That's before and after. This is one of those where it's hard to it is actually hard to compare because there's, whoa, that didn't work at all. Okay, undo.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm going to leave the selective color there. I'm going to head back up to regular color and a bit more vibrance, less saturation. And I'm going to go to the light and bring down a bit of that over exposed effect. Bring down that highlights. See how our skin is all like washed out. Bring the highlights down a bit, but bring up the shadows a bit brighter. So again, you just play around until you find something that you think might work. So now I'm back and forth. So it doesn't look as bright as it did before, but I think the skin looks a bit more realistic. It still looks like an old photo, but it's better. I think it's probably still too overexposed. Let me bring it down and bring the highlights. The highlights down and the exposure back up. Yeah, that seems better. Oh, that's better.
yeah, way better.
So you have to play around because, you know, these all, it's not a one size fits all. You need to figure out what might. I think I went overboard on the skin is looking a bit tan again, but anyway. So this is the before,
But the problem is that if you don't get it right,
before and after. See
the
how much
mouse,
we're much better. There it was washing out, and now you can kind of see us.
yeah,
So yeah, so I'm happy with what
features back.
not perfect, but for an old photo, it's and if I kept playing with it for quite a while, I'm sure I'd come to a place where I'm happier with it. But right now, oh, there you go. Less color before and after. Yeah, so that is all bizarre, and this is almost could almost look like she's still very overexposed in here, but that's the light. Anyway, so there we go. For now, I'm going to say done. So there you go, a photo that we could have, and I'm going to right click and show you that if I regret it, let me just move it up a bit so you can see. If I right click, when choices to revert to original, even here, I don't even need to go all the way in. I can just revert to original and get rid of it here. But what if I want to see truly the before and the after? I can right click, duplicate this photo, right? So here I have it twice. For some reason, one's going up there, one's going down there, but okay, I have it twice. And to one of them, I wish I could see them next to each other though. No matter what, they're still showing. Here, I'm going to get rid of one of these photos so that I can have them show next to each other. Here we go. So we have two photos that are both modified. I'm going to right click on one of them and say revert to original. So this is the original and this is the one I have now. You can see how even the background that I had before
Changed.
was, yeah. So now I can hit this and they go, that's now, before and after. This is before and after, before and after. Okay. So I think that was a lot. That's much better. You can see the shapes of her face. You can see, and this is how the photo looked, and this is what I got now. I think that's better. It's not a great photo, but it's much better, right?
Yeah.
And that's just with the tools I just showed you. But I kind of had an idea of where to go. at first you're just learning where to go and you play around with those things until you find and you go, maybe not that way, go this way, go that way until you find it better. So now this is the same set of photos. The photos are different, but these are all photos of me. This is my little group of friends. There's me with my straightened bangs. There's me at home with my friends. Again, me with my straightened bangs and me with another friend. So this is all the same. Can you see the background? It's reproduced in the same light at the same time on the same place on top of my mom's table. So even if the photos themselves are different, I'm wondering if the same corrections I made to this one would apply to these four. So let's give it a try. I'm going to right click and copy edits, right? And then I'm going to right click on this one. I'm going to say paste edits. Oh, yeah, I like that. So if I say before, if I undo, or if I right click and paste edits, even though it's a very different photo, it still helped. I would probably keep doing changes, but what I did to that one seems to have helped this one. How about this one? Right click. I need to paste the edits here. Right click, paste edits. And this one, it got too dark. So I'm going to undo. But that did seem to have helped. And then on this one, which looks like that, I'm going to right click, paste edits. This one, see how the background went blue and overboard. The faces look normal skin though, which before they didn't. They look brown. So I don't know. Just saying how you might want it. So and this is the one where it did best to paste the edits. And then from here, I would go to edit and I would then keep changing to make it hopefully be better. I think this is probably, I don't know. I would have to keep playing around with that. But right now,
You're losing your mouth.
what's that?
You lost you lost your own mouth.
When I did the paste edits,
Yeah.
let's see, paste edits. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, whole point is,
Yeah, yeah.
I just think that what I applied to this one worked well for this one. I thought it might apply to these, but not so much. It did, but you can still keep because they're very different lighting situations. The color the skin has there and there, it's very different. So even though I photographed them all at the same time, the same corrections that worked for this didn't really work for that. But that's okay. It was just giving it a try. All right.
If you like some of the corrections that you just pasted on, but not others, can you go into it and tinker with it some more?
Yeah, like I'll go ahead and I'll go to this one, for example, right? And I'll paste the edits to that one. There,
Okay.
it's changed it. Now I'll open it and I'll hit the edit tools. And now it's completely up to me. These
You can
are
tell,
the
yeah.
same things I applied before, but now I can decide, well, no, I want to make it even, higher exposure, or I want to bring down the highlights, or I want to open up the shadows because this one definitely needs more brightness. Okay. Bring up the contrast, bring down the black point. How about more brilliance? Yeah, I think I need more black point. So, I'm working on, like, we've already started the job, but this
Right.
colors on this one are totally gone. The cast on this one is almost unfixable. It's all reddish no matter what, see? But if I go to the selective color, I'm wondering if I can bring down the saturation of that tone of red a little bit to help it. Let me see all the magenta and red that it has. Bring it down a bit. It just has a ton. That's a bit better. It's still brownish. I'm not recovering much color. Clearly, these are regular faced people with sweaters of colors, and yet we're all kind of looking pasty brown, but there's only so much. We're not inventing color. We're just trying to get the worst of it off. So this is how we started. And this is now. From there to this, it's much better, right? It's still not perfect color, but there we go. From there to this, it's much better. Um, Let me see if I add a bit more warmth, a bit more yellow to that skin. No, makes no difference. Yeah, there's very little yellow. How about green? There's no green. Yeah, so it's all about the reds and the magentas. Oh, that looks better. Yeah, I'm beginning to have some skin tone there. Obviously the kind of photo that with a flash, this person just got flashed and the rest have a bit better skin tone, but before and after, it's looking almost decent. I mean, I remember the color of that shirt and that was a gray sweater. So, and actually right now the color is almost, she has a reddish color, burgundy, gray and gray, burgundy and gray shirt. That was part of our school uniform. So this is kind of the right colors, but yeah, anyway, before and after. So I got it much better. And of course I would have to go crop it, but see, even the photo, I can't really talk about cropping. I couldn't just crop it normal because if I try to crop it normal, see how this is off right there? So this is where that vertical thing might help me straighten it a bit so that when I crop it, now I'm actually cropping it straight, right? But then the vertical part here is missing. So if I go over and move this horizontally a bit and then move the photo in and then straighten it that way a bit. Now I'm going to lose those little rounded corners, but who cares? Unless I care because I want to keep it as an old photo. But there you go. Now I have a better crop. Just take a bit more of that. And then our good friends, we still get together whenever I go home. My good friends. She was one of these two were at that wedding that I told you about. You've seen them 30 years later in that wedding photo. Anyway, there we go. So that photo versus it kind of looked like these before, right? So anyway, enough of my photos. I want you to show me some photos that you would like to work on or fix or do something with, and that you need some help with. Would you like to give that a try? Otherwise, I will continue with the rest of the edit tools. I'm going to clear your answers. Give me a yes. If you're good, you don't need to see that anymore. You want to move on with the rest of the edit tools. Give me a yes, I'm good. Please continue. Or I still have questions. Raise your hand. All right. So who's left here? Mary Jean, are you around right now? I think you are not.
Just getting ready to say goodbye.
There we go. Yeah, I knew that you had to leave. Okay. And
I'll never make all those adjustments. I take the pictures and whatever they look like.
Yeah.
I can crop them, but I'll never do all the coloring stuff.
Okay, cool. No
Okay,
problem.
thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right. So you guys, let me head over to, I'm going to take this picture. Whatever. This picture. I'm going to double click and back to the edit mode and show you a few other choices. So this was a portrait mode picture. So here we are in portrait mode. We have something above light. And that thing above light is the tools for, remember what we talked about, the depth, right? Where I can make the depth. So if I make it very different, see the roses went off and that's in focus, or I can click on roses and the rest goes off of focus, right?
That's a very, yeah, but it only works when something was shot in portrait.
In portrait mode, yeah.
Yeah. I always had assumed that portrait was for people,
I know, but that's why, just like the panorama is supposed to be sideways, but for that photo of the trees and the subway, I looked at, you can do what you want. So in this case, if you were to want a bit of the photos, and I don't know that it's what I want in this photo, but the fact that it's a portrait mode allows me to do that, and you can choose to do that or not. And I never think that the full-on version is good because it's too fake, right? But somewhere in between might work for some photos. All right, so that's portrait mode. I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to leave it in everything sharp. And there's a couple of other tools over here that I haven't shown you. But this photo here is actually correctly exposed. So let me get one that's worse. because curves and levels are two other different ways of working with things that are at a higher level. So let me actually say done and look for a picture that might need. Let's try this one. This one's weird. Oh, there's another one that would have worked. This one's weird. Let's try this one because you can just take it at face value the way it came out, or you can try to enhance it. See how the front is a little bit in silhouette? The light was all over there. Here it was still dark. It's kind of a strange. Can we see a little bit more into the shadows to still more of the figure? By the way, this is high in the very top of the Pyrenees over a path that I was crossing the Pyrenees this summer. This is the let me turn the iPhone window off. This is the statue is sitting there overlooking everything. It's religious or not, it doesn't matter. It's just a pretty impressive, it's got the best sight in the world, let's say, right? And it's sitting there overlooking. This is deep, deep, deep valley. And the path goes right next to her, to the statue. So if I head over to the edit, let's see what I can do with the levels and the curves. So find a photo that might be a bit iffy on color. Let's start with levels first. I'm going to open levels and I'm not touching it with the rest, and I could have, but let's just go and see what I can do with this first. So go to levels. When I open levels, of course, first of all, I could hit the auto, and this is what the computer decides. And it's not a bad choice, and I'm going to undo it because right now, either make it a silhouette and make it be dark so you can see the background, or see it, right? Right now it's in that in between. So when I hit on auto, they basically decide, no, I want to see that better. Just put it more in silhouette. And it's not a bad choice, but let's hit the return. And what I'm seeing here, this is for the people taking my Photoshop class. We talk with histograms a lot. This is a histogram. And it's showing me here my dark tones and here my light tones, right? And so if you look at this, you go, oh, but there's a lot of light tone over there. Yeah, but it's not pure white. It looks white only because it's in comparison to the gray. So I'm seeing whenever there's a tall shape in this histogram, there's a lot of that color. Where there's a low, there's very little of that color. And here there's a tall and there's low. So what this tells me is there's a lot of a lighter color, which is down here. Or it could be very, very much in between light. So this is very light, and this is the middle. So that's probably the sky, which is light but not so light. And then down here we have a little bit of light for the clouds. So if I want to move the sky over a bit to make it lighter or darker, I'm going to grab, see this little dot right here? I'm going to move it to the right and see how I can make the sky lighter or darker just by moving this little figure there, because I figured that was the sky. I'm also going to just move it over this way and just make the whole sky a bit lighter. And now I can choose what to do with the lightness or the darkness there. Now I'm going to grab the dark points and pull them down a bit. And instead, now I'm making a choice, the opposite choice. See how now I suddenly see the Virgin with the shape that before I couldn't see? I don't know if you can tell, but before we couldn't see this. Let me turn this off. It was kind of pasty and whatever. So now by darkening that, moving this over and moving this there, suddenly it's like I'm prioritizing this instead of the background. And I'm seeing this much better than before with more, with less haze than I saw it before. And then that's falling into the background. So I'm not saying it's a good choice one way or the other. It's just you can change the way the image looks just by moving these guys and making decisions about where the darks go, where the lights go. Okay, I can lighten the whole thing and then put this one much more into forefront. And now it's not a picture of the valley, it's a picture of the statue. And the valley is just kind of there. I much prefer the other way around. I much prefer when it was a picture of the valley and the statue is in silhouette. But I've managed to just change the entire photo just by playing around with these levels and things, right? Of what goes where. And again, this is just something that you'd have to learn to play with and see what happens. But in a way, it's a more advanced version of, so I'm going to undo all of this again, completely back to zero. It's what I could have done here. Over here, I could have said, okay, let me darken that, heighten this, do that, move that there, move this there, and I could just make it a pure silhouette, right? At some point, it could be just all about the background, right? And the statue is not even there. So the same photo before was of the statue. Now it's just a silhouette, and all you're looking at is the mountains. So what you do with a light changes the entire photo. Does that make sense? After all, that is what a photo is. It's a photo of light. So now I make the front completely silhouetting against the background. So how many photos have I showed you with this one photo already? Like 3 versions? Just the background, just the statue, or the combo, right? And neither one is right or wrong. It's a preference, and that's the whole thing. Post-processing is like art in that you make your choice with it. There's the reality of what we're seeing, and then what do you want to do with the photo? So just because it's the most basic program that comes with a computer doesn't mean that you can't do some pretty advanced things with it. This is the before, this is the after. Look how changed this photo is. Again, not saying it's the best or the worst version of the photo, but it's very different, right? Just by moving these guys over or moving the levels tools over. I'm going to clean up the levels tool, and I'm going to clean up what I did here in the light. And the same with the curves. The curves is also a bit that idea. It's even more advanced than levels way of moving things. So we have this curve here, and you move it in and out, and you just choose what's going to become dark, what's going to become light. I'm not going to teach you curves. It's hard even to teach it to my Photoshop people, but it's a more advanced way of doing the same thing. So if you can do it at the most amateur version possible by clicking on the enhance, you can do it by clicking on the auto. You can do it by moving the features around over there, or you can go down to levels, or you can down to curves. So by the time you're done, you can basically do a whole bunch of good stuff just by clicking around these choices. All right. I'm gonna revert to original, and I'm personally gonna play with it in Photoshop where I can do, for those of you who are interested in this kind of stuff, I'm gonna stop right now, but I could make a mask to protect the front and then make the background really great. Pull out some of those sunrise colors that I have there that you can barely see. That if I were to just go now to the color, I could probably put some of those colors in the sky. Look at that. But now the rest is messing up. And so I would have to mask all of this so that I can have the colors in the sky without messing the foreground, which here in this program, if I mess up the colors in the background, it messes also the colors in the foreground. You know what I mean? It doesn't allow you to just do one or the other. But in the other programs that I teach, I can actually isolate each one of these pieces and end up with a photo that I truly want by the time I'm done. So if anyone is interested in that, consider taking those classes. All right. I'm going to say done to that. Oh, one more thing. White balance doesn't apply here. Noise reduction, sharpen vinaigrette. The only thing I don't have to show you here is red eye, and I did have a photo of red eye somewhere. Did I put it in to be edited? I had a photo of a red-eyed child, but I seem to have gotten rid of it. So I don't have it anymore. Why wouldn't I have that? That's silly. So I don't have that. But anyway, it would be, say that I opened this photo and it's been photographed with red eye, which it isn't. It's very simple. You go with people with flashes, you know how you got red eye, you go over here, you make a little size of your tool, the size of the eye, whatever the size of the eye would be. And then you go in and you click in that eye, and it just kind of takes the red away and darkens it up. Okay. I'm going to get rid of it because I don't have that happening, but that's what that red eye feature is. Okay. One last thing I wanted to show you about editing is that everything I've just shown you for photos works as well for videos. I'm going to head over to media types. I'm going to click on a video, and here's a video. And if I go to edit, I can do the same. I can do auto, I can lighten or darken the color, I can increase the saturation, I can change the cast. I'm doing whatever now, right? I can force the highlights down, brightness. I'm just messing things up. But basically, and then when I play this video, it would it looks all altered because of all the changes I made. I'm going to revert to original, okay? So yeah, and it goes across the whole video, okay? So pretty impressive. You can correct a video as well. Same tools, same exact tools that you had. Now, the one tool I don't see though is the AI tool. I guess it doesn't apply to videos yet. So well, but it does apply. All the other stuff that we have here applies to video. So yeah, there's more to editing video, but right now I just want to make sure that everyone knows that so you could even crop a video, which is kind of weird, but you could. You could head over to crop and you could decide that the video is gonna be that portion. And that's all you want to see, right? Maybe you just want to see that portion. And yeah, the video would still play. Okay. If I show this video, it would still play in that mode. All right. Again, I'm reverting to original. So go ahead and open a video and see what I mean about being able to edit the video. And I'm accustomed, this is weird. This class usually has many more students. This is the first time I've had a small iLife class. Usually it's 25 to 30 students, and there's a lot of questions and a lot going on. So I can keep going, but I also want to make sure that you all have your questions answered. Um, yeah. How's it going? How's it feeling? You're all good? Not good?
Good.
Yeah. Let me clean your
You
answer.
know, there are so many things to do that I feel like I lose some of them, or I lose quite a lot of them. I go and try and do something that you've just done, but meanwhile you're doing something else. So,
Well, that's true. I kind of keep moving because no one stops, but it's true. One thing I haven't been doing is leaving you guys time to work to then ask me some questions. And I have a lot, I have more to show you, or I can move on with editing videos or stuff like that. But I also want to have you guys practice. So I'm looking at the time right now. We have 45 minutes left. Next week, we're going to be doing editing videos, but there's also projects here. There's more I can keep showing you, but I also don't want to overwhelm you. Um, so there's that balance between showing you more new stuff or working on what I've shown you. So maybe you guys can you can vote on if you want to see some more new stuff or if you want to do some practice around what we have. I have thought in the past of sharing the same photo with everyone like I do in Photoshop. So everyone puts in a certain set of photos in their photo album and we can all work on them together so that I can show you and you can do. What's harder here is that you're all working on your own photos. So when I show you something here, you might not have an example of that yourselves, right?
or or if we have examples, I have a great many pictures, you know,
Yeah.
and finding the right one to work on in a certain way is.
Well, do you guys want to spend a couple minutes looking for some photos that you might want to work on and ask me some questions? Just like,
I'm gonna try looking for a video, I guess, or we're going to do videos next week.
mhm.
I just found some videos. I don't do videos very much, but I did a couple.
Yeah, and we can do um I was thinking that some people might not be here next Monday, whichever of you who's still here, because quite a few people already left. But next, when does it start? 2 weeks from now. Let me look at the calendar because I don't have it in the forefront of my mind what day it is. Yeah, not next Monday. Next Monday is the last week of iLife. Then comes Thanksgiving's. The following Monday, I start with a handheld intro to handheld devices class. And that one, yeah, whenever I try to show you that, I think it might be full, but let me check and see. Hold on, so I just got a code. 620. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen with you guys, but I'm getting into my class schedule. Class schedule search. Register for classes. So by the way, the December 12th is the first day we can sign up for next session. Okay, just letting you know, to December 12th.
Registration starts.
Registration starts, and I teach that morning at 9, and I think registration starts at 8:30, and I'm trying to get into a class. I hope I can do that in time.
That on my
Handheld
phone.
devices, here it is. It's from 1 to 4:15. It takes the same time. When iLife finishes, it takes up the same schedule. But Wednesday, Thanksgiving, we don't teach, but then the following Monday, 1 to 4:15, is handheld device, and it's 3 meetings. We meet 3 times. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Monday. And I have 22 people, so I still have 2 spots left if anyone's interested in that one. And it's a variety of different handheld devices, not just iPhones, right? So if you have other stuff, if you have uh, other smartphones, other music players, ebooks, Kindles, readers, stuff like that. So if you're interested in, smartwatches, so if you're interested in learning a bit more about all of that, consider taking that class.
Is it a very detailed class, or it seems like there would be so many different devices that you
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
be able to
it's
go
more
into one.
general. It's more general than how I teach. So because I can't teach every little detail of everything, you can
But
barely
it'll
do
give us at least an idea of what these different gadgets do.
exactly
Okay.
handheld devices. I think it's intro to handheld. I'm putting it in the chat. Intro to handheld devices. Same schedule as Mac classes. Starting Monday, what did I say was the first day? December 1st. We'll meet 3 times. And right now I have 2 more spots. If someone tries to sign up and they don't have a spot available, email me and I'll send you a signed form. But anyway, there's still place for 2 more right now without a signed form. Okay, and then the last class I need to fill in that one, I need people for that one if you're interested in create compelling content. And again, I don't know if there's of any interest to anyone who's in this class, but I have 10 people and I need 20 for that one. So that's more of a push.
What does create compelling
It's
content?
creating, you guys ever make or interested in making marketing pieces for business, if you have any business, or I'm thinking family books that you print all your photo books for the family, or brochures, or things, whatever you're going to create and make. I teach a lot of classes of how to make them, but this one isn't about how to make them as much as to figure out what to put in them. Like what's the who's going to be receiving and reading it, what kind of information they need. And then once we discover for whatever you want to make, we go find that stuff. There's so much online that's free. There's so much online, so many tools to help us create that. We are going to be talking about AI to help us
Mhm.
create some of that information. So we're going to be finding AI solutions that are not plagiarizing stuff. As far as I'm concerned, I'm
Mhm.
really against that. But anyway, beginning to explore that whole conversation of what do you do with the support and the help of AI, but it's still your material. Um, so yeah, create compelling content is only 2 days. Both of
When
these
is that?
classes, let me just explain, both of these classes appear as though they are in person. Enter the handheld devices and create compelling content. Say that they'll be taught at Wake Center, room 3. But I wanted to let you know that I will also, for those of you who can't travel to go to school, I will be putting the Zoom on at school, like I do with my Mac classes. And for people who are at home, they can stay at home, and people who are able to come to the classroom, they can come to the classroom. Okay. But it's not official. The Mac classes, it's official. For those, it's more like me doing it because I know that otherwise people won't come.
Some people can't come, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you need to let me know, and if so, I will turn on the Zoom and I'll have it running. But if no one's interested in doing it online, I'll just do it in the classroom, right? So if you're coming and you're interested and you want to do it online, you need to let me know. Okay. Um,
Well,
uh,
I'm interested in if you're going to talk about things like how to work or not work with AI, that's an interesting.
yeah, I will.
Not that I want to do it because I don't like the idea, but but I
But
want to
that's
understand it.
seeing is we can't ignore it anymore. That's the problem. It's one thing to say, well, I can just ignore it, stick my head in the sand. But in reality is that, look, the iPhone to fix the photos using AI. There's like AI is beginning to be part of our life. And so beginning to decide when and where and how to use it is actually important.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's Create Compelling Content, December 5th and 12th, which is a Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's only 2 meetings. There, I put the information for that one there. Okay. So if you guys are interested in those two, I do need help for the compelling content class. We'll cancel if I don't get more people. So that's me kind of begging. The other one, no, the class will run. And if you're interested in it, that would be great to have you in it, you know?
By the way, I I think one thing that that I sometimes shy away from, very long classes are tiring for me.
Yeah.
I'm much better off if you have a, really I'm best with a 3 hour class rather than a 4 hour class, or at least maybe with more breaks.
Yeah.
But my brain just sort of gets, it's like my brain gets full up to a certain point, and then it's like nothing else is going into that pond, or it's all spilling over the edge.
That's really good feedback. Because we're always trying to figure out how to schedule these classes. I
Yeah,
used to have more classes that were more times a week and they were shorter. Um, the problem is that now because a certain set of classes took over the classroom Tuesdays and Thursdays for
yeah.
a veterans photography class, now I have to put all my classes into Mondays or Wednesdays or
Okay.
Fridays. And so they've become more compact and more hours, which I know is a problem, but you're right. I could give more breaks.
Well,
Um,
I think I'm just saying because there is and I'm sure it's partly my age, but hell, this is senior. Well, no, actually, your classes are not senior.
Mine are not senior, but you're right, though. And I do feel like I have all this stuff I need to teach. And if I get too many breaks, I don't get to teach it. But on the other hand, if you guys are brain dead, what's the point of teaching it, right? So like
Yeah.
some
It's
balance.
just like you get overload, you know.
So it's a good point that when I have classes that are more than 3 hours, I should give two breaks instead of just one.
Okay,
And it's a good reminder, and I would appreciate if anytime you take a class of mine, you would remind me of that at the beginning.
sure.
But I'm going to see if I can begin to explore that. I also feel sometimes, and this is just me, Because as a student, I want to learn so much. And as a teacher, I want to teach so much. But I feel that if I give too many classes, it's like I'm cheating you guys out of learning, right? But I understand too your point that if it's nonstop, you get to a point where you're not learning anymore. So,
That's right. I mean, literally and I don't know
mhm.
where to find out about that, but
Yeah.
It's not just you, Georgia.
I'm sure I'm not the
It's
only.
hard for me to sit for that length of period of
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also even the healthy things that say everybody should get at least stand up every half hour. Well, if I'm staring at the screen and so I'm trying to follow something, I don't even do that, or
But you're right. And I keep going figuring you guys can stand up when you need, but then you feel like you miss something. So it's not a bad idea to have me. There's a teacher who teaches like professional development classes, and she has everyone stand up and stretch every 20 minutes. I don't know that I can be that consistent, but it's a great idea.
Well, I have to be the contrarian
Uh-huh.
because I have to devote certain time of my day for the class, which I absolutely love your classes, and I want to learn as much as I can in a short period of time. So if we do multiple classes through the week, then it ruins my entire week. So I know one apple doesn't fit everything, but I just wanted to throw it in that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, and are we going to cover iMovies today?
Not today, but Monday. But now I can continue a bit with videos. I'm just trying to get a feel for what's next for everyone because we're a little bit ahead of time, and I'm more than happy to start with videos right now. Um, but I wanted to mention those two classes because, in particular, the compelling content class, if I don't have students, it will cancel. So I thought I'd let you know about that one. And the handheld devices, I thought it might be interesting. Two people in this class.
have you experimented, by the way, with having one class like what the way we do it now? It's like there are two classes every week for a shorter period of time. Have you ever done it as one class on Mondays for twice as many weeks and another class on Wednesdays for twice as many weeks? Or do you do it this way because
Well,
this is a suite of classes that builds on
yeah,
each
many of
other,
them build upon each other. I can't do intro to the Mac parallel to Mac level one, parallel to Mac level two. I have to do them one after the other.
right? Right.
Um, and iLife, yeah, usually iLife is usually parallel. It usually goes on a different day. This is the first time it comes after the rest of the Mac classes. We try different things each time. This has been harder to get people to sign up this session, so maybe this wasn't a successful layout. We'll see. I think this in the spring we kind of laid out like this again. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
thanks for the feedback, both Georgia and Blas. And I don't know what anyone else thinks here, but there's not that many of us left. It's just basically us, Rodney and Martha. So
I completely appreciate these classes.
yeah,
I,
okay.
I value them.
It also depends on how the person is, right? And I'm the kind of person and who can kind of focus on something and go steamroll into it for a long time. And other people need little snippets of it, right? And that's just how it is. And so I just kind of teach the way I am sometimes, which is as I keep going. But yeah, giving breaks in between would be good. All right, here we are. I'm in the videos mode. I want to make sure that everyone goes to their media types and chooses only videos.
Okay.
And although I'm going to really go in depth into video mode next week, here I'm going to show you a couple of things about videos, and then we're going to go into the word projects because I'm going to show you something about slideshows out of which we can do videos. Okay. So this here projects, if you have nothing under it, if you've never done anything, we're going to do a bit of a thing in there that includes some videos. So I'm going to open a video, any video here. And before I open it, I can see here it says that's 12 seconds. This one's 6 seconds. This one's 40 seconds, 14 seconds. So you kind of believe to see how you can begin to know what they are, begin to know what they feel like by the seconds. Now, most of them over here, have sideways orientation, which is the way videos used to be. You used to have a video and it used to be sideways. So this is an example of a little video from 18 seconds. And yeah.
Broke this.
Okay. Now, if I stop it and play it or go quickly to the end, these are the tools we have right now to editing or scrolling a video. I can also stop the sound and play it without sound if I'm just trying to look at it right now. I can also click on this over here and it tells me where to play it. And if I had my computer connected to a TV right now, here's where you could choose your TV and you could be playing this video on a TV. Okay. I don't have that. I just have my computer. But this might be a way to then demo things, friends, whatever videos on TV. So that's just the beginning of how you would look at a video. But one thing I wanted to mention is that these videos are taken by cameras when it didn't occur to us to take a video, a real camera, the big old DSLRs where you've taken like that. And if you want to see this on a TV screen, you got to take it in this landscape mode. But then along came the phones and things began to be photographed in this mode where people are taking videos like that because then they put them on social media, right? And again, the whole thing. Now, you need to, before there was no question the video was a video. Now you have to question, well, am I taking a video that I'm going to show in social media? Or I'm taking a video that I want for myself to maybe make a little bit more of a movie out of or something, right? To demo, to slideshow. So it really, you need to decide what you're going to do, because if I say, well, this video has to be shown on my TV, then you're going to see a bunch of black on both sides. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Versus if you're going to show this, where was this video on your phone, it's going to be tiny on your phone and you're going to see a bunch of white on the top and on the bottom. Does that make sense? So they aren't really so easy to make two for one, because the format really does change. Now, what I could do to this one, I'm going to right click and duplicate it. And it's a pretty big file. So here comes a video. So now I have two of the same thing. I could select one and I could go to the edit mode and crop it, and then kind of crop it into something that's going to be a bit more palatable for social media. The thing is that when they go slide over there, when I play it, they'll probably fall out of screen. So here they go. Da, 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 da. It looks like I've managed to follow them. So the way this video was, it had so much stuff on both sides that now if I cropped this one, which I did, turns out that as long as it kind of follows the right, turn the sound off, the right movement, I was able to crop it enough that this seems like it's going to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's good, but that's not very typical of videos. Now, a lot of time videos are made where you're focusing in the center of what you're interested in. So that could work. And then this is what you would use for social media. Still, it's not the same proportion. This would really be the proportion for social media. But if I were to crop it much more, and again, I'm showing you this part of editing only because it's basically part of editing photos. If I were to crop a little bit more here and there to make it a bit more of the right proportion, I need to be ready to, that when they head over to the right, I'll lose them a little bit, but it's still enough. It's still working, right? And so that kind of worked. So
Does that change the file size
it
when you
does
cropped it?
no. Great question. And we're going to talk more about what does or doesn't change the file size a lot next Monday when we talk about videos. But no, this video and that video, I did not, I just visually am hiding, so to say, masking out the two sides of it. But the file size is just as big. It is also just as 18 minutes. Nothing gets lost. For better or for worse, because it also means that I can go back and say revert to original and truly nothing was lost. It's all there. Got it? But if you did want it to be a new video, then it might be like, well, I'm going to lose it. I don't remember what part he went into. Was that it? How far he goes? There, I'm losing him for a little bit. Okay. So if I can go as far as that, I've hidden this part, but it's still there. You saw that when I said revert to original, it was still there, right? So that file now I've actually made duplicated. So I've double the amount of space in my computer. But for many videos, you can do that. And for others, you can't, because the whole point is, if you look at this video, the whole spread of the ocean. You know, what would happen if I had just obviously a bit, you're gonna lose it, right? So it's like every video I can do that. I should have silenced this. But I also move my camera, so it's, if you edit that and make it tiny, it might not work. All right, so that's one thing about considering when you do a video, if you think you're going to want to show it both ways, you need to move your camera. And if it's an action that keeps going, then you should do one of each, right? And but if it's something that happened in the moment and they're not going to keep sliding on the ice, then you're stuck with what you've got. But be consistent. Here you have one way or the other way, one way or the other way, which means that when I try to put them together in a video, it's not going to work, right? I'm going to have either one or the other, and I'm going to have to drop and not have some. And then there's that in between, neither too long or too skinny, which is what a lot of videos that you shoot at now is, which is like 4:6 format, which isn't even like really long or really tall, but it's this kind of square version. So here I have 3 versions of how a video can play. And this is another example where I can't really cut it into a format where it would work, because the way it works, I would lose, you know. I know. My computer telling me I have 15 minutes. So anyway, you got to consider that. Okay. So that said, another thing that I wanted to show you is that these videos, they have the possibility of being split together in this program, right? If you make them into a slideshow. So let me just show you this project. So let's go down there. So this isn't editing videos. That was just a detail, and I'm going to keep going with actually editing them and clipping them and splicing them and all that on Monday. But here under projects, one choice you can make, it says book, calendar, and one choice is slideshow. And let me move this down so you can see it. A lot of these, before you could make books inside of the app, this app iPhotos, we can't anymore, calendars, you can't anymore. It takes you to different apps. You would buy an app that would do that, wall decor. But the one that we can still use really nicely is the slideshow version. So you go down here and you do, which reminds me, prints. I didn't do prints yet. I only have 15 minutes left. Okay, slideshow photos. So if I do that and I make a new slideshow, so let's call this one test for class and say okay. I guess, because I was already selecting that one. So if you were selecting something, let me undo that because I didn't want to start that one, which isn't a problem, but I can just go back to test for class, right click and delete that slideshow. That happened because I was selecting something and I didn't mean it, but I had finished my click on something. So that photo went into that slideshow. If you have nothing selected, and you create a slideshow. So now you click on the white to have nothing selected and you say, create a slideshow. Now I say test, let me say test, nothing selected. Then really, I'm under videos where I have 75 videos. Oh, it said 75, why 87? Maybe I got the wrong number. If I have nothing selected, it assumes I want to make a slideshow of all these videos. And so it was about to put all those videos in there. Now I didn't want anything. I walked out and now I can put in whatever I want in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to the library, and it's a slideshow. Slideshows tend to be photos, right? Well, what if I put a few videos in here, a few photos? I'm going to put a couple of these pottery pieces, and I'm going to drag them into that test, nothing selected. I'm going to put those three pieces of pottery in there. I'm going to put this one. I'm just looking at some different formats. I'm going to put this one. So these are all video photos that I put in the slideshow. Another way of doing that, let me start from 0, go back to the library, pre-select 5 pieces. So I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 photos of rocks and mushrooms and stuff. So I've pre-selected about 7 photos. Click, 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 click with my command key. Now I go to the projects and I make a slideshow. And this time I call this one, I know, nature. And I say, okay. And it takes all those. And it already selected the slideshow. So here's the one that I selected and added later. And here's the one where I had them pre-selected. A little bit that the albums or folders, right? I either start from scratch and put things in there, or I pre-select and create it. Now that doesn't mean that I can't go back and keep selecting. So I'm going to go to my albums where I have nature photos and close-ups. I'm going to add actually rocks. And I'm going to go add a couple other rock photos into this one, the nature one. Boom, I just dropped another photo in there. And then I'm going to drop this one in there too. So you can keep adding. Okay. Now for the video one, I'm going to, is it already? What time is it? No, we still have time. What time does the class finish? 4:45, right? Yeah. So then I go into my videos. I'm going to go into my videos, media types, videos. And I'm going to put some videos in a slideshow. What do you mean by videos in a slideshow? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look at a couple of these. So let's see, this is a little second clip. And I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it into the test, nothing selected. And then let me see, one more. This one, which is 18 seconds, which is a lot. And I'm going to add it into test, nothing selected. So now I have just photos in this one. And here I have photos and videos. Okay. So first of all, the way they landed doesn't mean that that's how they need to play. I can grab some of these things and just say, well, right now, let's see what's going to happen. What did I do? I have 8 photos here. How's it going to look? I'm going to hit preview. I don't know if you can hear the music. Can you hear music? It's playing a music and it's running through. Stop it. I'm going to stop the preview. So this wasn't play. This was just preview on and off, right? And first thing is that my first photo was vertical mode. The second one is too. And then the third one is in horizontal mode. So the rest of it is getting kind of blanked out, right? Because these are vertical photos in a horizontal format. And slideshows are usually shown on a TV or on a projector, and they're going to be in landscape mode. So that's what happens. You lose part of it. But this is the way they had landed. What if I want this one to follow that one? And so I can grab it here and I can just drag it over and put it there. And then this one can go, well, come on. Hello. Why are they not? There. Oh, couldn't get it to move for a minute there. So it has to make a space. There, like that. I don't know why that one's resisting the being moved. Yeah, there. Okay, so you can move them around, right? And choose which ones you want where. The first one came with a title called Nature. The title I put in there. But what if I wanted to have a different title or I want it to be in a different place? Can I do that? Yeah, I can grab that and it just, it won't work for that title to be nature. I can select it and have it be rocks, for example. Oh, rocks, right? So even though it's still called nature, I can give it a different title. I can call it rocks. Now I can click over here on these three choices and choose a different theme it's going to have. So the classic is the one it was in, which was basically they were flowing through, but I can have it be like vintage prints or origami or Ken Burns mode. Let me show you. Origami is kind of funky, but notice that what's changing is also the font. So everything changes. When I change to magazine mode, rocks is over there. When I change to vintage prints, and I've changed to sliding panels. So what you choose makes a difference. Let me try sliding panels right now. Let me hit preview. I'm gonna do that. That's it because I have very few photos. So when you have one of these modes, it takes up many more photos, right? And it divided it into 1, 2 for the second one, 3 for the next one, 4 for the next one, and I was out of photos. If I go into origami mode, and I try origami mode, I don't know if you can hear, but it's changing the music too. Each version comes with its music assigned to that version. But what if you want, so I'm going to go to Ken Burns and the music I want is different. So I head over to the little music note here. And I say the Ken Burns style comes with the Ken Burns music, right? Well, if you go to this music library, it turns out that you might have other sounds that you can use for it, things that you might have in your computer. If you have the theme songs are the ones that come. So maybe I want the Ken Burns style of folding, but I want the magazine sound with it, right? So I'm going to turn off Ken Burns and I'm going to say magazine sound. So now it's in Ken Burns theme style of how to flip the photos, but with magazine music. And then I preview. It just shows you a different music. I'm going to stop it because the musics are so loud, but since I'm showing you music, it's that. So the sliding panels that I was using has its, anyway, so this is themes, how the images get combined, and this is what music you choose for it. All right, I'm going to go back and selecting the sliding panels with sliding panels music. I'm going to leave that. And then the third choice is time. So do you have a song that you brought in from your computer, your favorite song, and it lasts a minute? And you want to fit your show to a minute? So you want the song to play. It's important. So you play the song, and the song plays from the beginning to end. Maybe you bring your favorite song, and it's a minute and a half of a song. Then the slideshow will play for as long as the music plays. And so you better put as many photos as you can for it to keep running through the whole song. Or you hit custom and you go, no, I just want my whole show to last a total of, in this case, I want it to go really slowly, 4.5 minutes, or I want it to go really fast. The least it allows is 10 minutes for this Fanny, or no, that's 1 minute, 10 seconds. And so when I do the preview, it's going much faster. See, all the photos have to play in that short amount of time, right? Or if I put it that all these photos have to last 4.5 minutes. It'll take forever on the first photo. It might take a whole minute on, 45 seconds on this photo before it moves to the next one. That's how you speed or slow down the photos. But I'm still here at the first one. I have only, 8 photos. That's 4.5 minutes. So you have to be careful on moving this around to adapt it to the sounds that you want and the speed that you want. Okay. So hopefully you all made one basic one. The reason I wanted to include the videos in here, though, is to show you that, yes, you can have videos in the midst of a slideshow. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in there. And instead of calling it test nothing selected, I'm going to call this one pottery, which is not much more inspired, but there it is, pottery, right? And now I'm going to choose to have it be, let me see what magazine does. And I'm going to choose it to have the theme song of, I don't know, origami. I really don't know what, I don't know the songs well to see. Why not leave it at magazine since I don't know anyway. And I want it to, this is set up, let's make it go a bit faster since we're just trying to get the class to move fast. So here we go. Problem is it has some videos in there, right? So I think it might need to include the videos. Okay, so now I'm going to preview them.
We can't hear the music.
You can hear the music?
Nope.
Magazine, I don't know why it's pushing all my stuff to the side. This is it's weird. Fine if we don't hear the music. Maybe it's bad. Well, this is my long one. Remember I said I had an 18-second video? It plays. I'm putting some video in some so loud I can't hear myself. Okay. So depending on what you do, videos can go in there. Now, the last version I have, what if you made a slideshow and it's only videos? So I'm going to go to videos and I'm doing some random videos. I don't know which ones I'm choosing because I'm aware the class is over soon. So I'm going to click on that one. Let me choose some short ones. This one's 3 seconds. Do I have any other really short? Here's another. These are very similar. Okay, here's a 7-second one. And here's a 9-second one. Okay, so the 3 are very short ones. I'm going to make a slideshow again of these 3 videos, and I'm going to call them pottery short. And I say okay. So they're being downloaded from the cloud for this. So now I have 3 videos in here, right? And they were like 7, 8, or 10 seconds each, whatever. Let me choose whatever theme. Let me go with Kim Burns. I don't know. And I'm going to say preview. And play it in that mode. Sorry, I wasn't doing when you press play, it goes up to the whole screen. So I need to share my entire screen. So now instead of preview, I'm going to go for play. Guess they're too short. I made them the videos. I made the really short one. So in 3 seconds, it's done. That's a 3-second 1, 2, 3, and it moves on to the next one. But if I were to have put bigger videos in there, they would stay longer. So here, I'm going to put a 13-second video in there. Okay, so I'm going to put that one in there, and now I'm going to play. Go for it. No, it's running through them. Go for it. What if I don't have any of these? Just go to classic. In classic, it plays all the, I think it's the other themes that don't let me play them. I've done this before. Good, now it's letting you play the entire video. Okay, phew. The classic mode is playing one video after the other. This is the longer 7-second one. Now let's go to this one that was, I think, 8 seconds. And then I think it has the last one was only 3 seconds. Or was this the long one? I don't remember each one. Okay. But it's basically playing, it's in classic mode. Then it lets you play all the videos out. Now, in this case, I'm not editing the videos. I'm just, that's what we're going to talk about next week. I'm just playing the videos as they are. Yep, I know. So I'm playing the videos as they came. But this thing, once we edit the videos and we make the right one slide into the right place, or we put the front one where it should be, the second one, the second, but wherever we prefer to have the right ones, we can move them around so that they play in the right order that tell a story. In fact, I have these videos in such a way that they would tell a story. When I'm done with that, I can export this as a video. So I can actually send this and save it right here. I can say export, and let me just show you again where. At the top, right? Same with the slideshows. The nature ones are videos and photos, or just photos. I can export this here, and I can turn it into a video that can be high definition, small. I'm going to make a really tiny one because we only have 1 minute left. The standard definition is going to be really small, right? I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm making a video out of it so that I can share. So I'm exporting that, and it. So this is how you'd make a video out of the Photos app with your videos, or with photos and videos combined, which is even better. And I put in that 13-second one. I shouldn't have, because exporting videos does take time, and I was trying to make it quick, but while it's doing it, yes, Bless?
Yes. So when you take a video, it also has audio with a video. So when you're playing it, like you were a while ago, and it plays the music, does it block the audio? For example, let's say I'm on vacation and I'm saying, here's a picture of.
No, it doesn't. It does sound and the music at the same time. I think you noticed it in the other one. Let me first show you the video, and then show you that. So here's my little video that I exported to my desktop, and now I can just play it. Actually, let me open it so it opens in. So actually, there's me talking. I exported in very bad.
Phoenix back.
It's weird. It's not playing the video. Okay, I'll do it. I've always done this example, but I don't do it in such slow-mo. I will do the same version, but I will do it with better export. And it should run, I don't know if now the plays on QuickTime. I don't know why. Here, let me play it on quick. This is where it usually plays, not on the Apple TV. Let me go to the pottery short video on the QuickTime player. There we go. Go for it. No, I don't know why it's not playing. I've never had problem with them playing, but it's stuck there. It's not playing the video. So something about the export. I will redo this one, and I'm moving so much fast because it's not working. But anyway, you guys try it with a couple of photos. But yeah, for some reason, that version didn't work, but it's always worked. So I'll try it again. They weren't playing. I don't know why they weren't playing in the little export.
Can you play it without music?
Definitely gonna do it in ways that I forgot to show you the transitions and the stuff, where you can choose, and in the transitions you can choose the music to not be there at all. You have a they've changed. You used to be able to choose your own music or to choose none. And right now I'm not seeing the choice for none. It's like you have to choose a theme. There, I've got nothing selected right now. Does that mean it's going to have no music? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Now it has no sound.
Okay.
But then it has no sound that was there. And then you might want to put in your own audio to it. But right now I went, so how one was always selected. I clicked until there was none selected. And so now then it went out with no sound. But if you want it with sound and your own music, then you would have to go to your own music library and whatever you have in your music app. You would have in the music app, Apple Music app, the one that comes with a Mac. Okay, the actual music app, and this is a library of their music app. Okay, play around with these features. I'm sure you'll have questions next week. I'm going to put one where I put the video and the photos in there and export it because I've always done it, and I don't know why this export didn't work. But yeah, play around with those choices. This is, you can have your computer set up and show it at a party, at an event. You're showing the trip you just went to, or the typical, wedding, and the background slideshow is showing the 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 kids who are getting married, and you're showing them in their growing up and those typical things. And you can have that there with no sound, but in the background. Or you could just send a little video out of your photos and your videos. And that's the one that I was just trying to show you, but that wasn't working for some strange reason, but I will make it work. Okay. Have some fun. Next time we'll actually get into how do you edit those videos, make them shorter, longer, duplicate them, trim them, combine them, get transitions going and stuff like that, which is much more work. And again, even if you don't do more videos, at least it'll open up to what is possible. Okay.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank
On
you.
Monday. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.